wrestle, and he needs to combine his wrestling movements with the acrobatic shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to combine it. Hold on a second. I was like, yo, Goldberg's son might have gotten in a fight with puberty just a little bit. Well, I don't know about a little bit because the last time we saw Goldberg's son, he was a little pudgy and milky white. That fight. I look like these little teeny boppers on TikTok. You like, who the fuck is this little white boy? Are we live? I ate an entire pint of Ben and Jerry's half baked. Lord have mercy. Jesus Christ. I couldn't.
Well, on his ice cream, ain't she?
What kind? Also, no more talk about Adam Cole. I'm not going to talk about Adam Cole, but y'all can have at it. I done said my piece about Adam. It is what it is. Anyway, so that was the only thing about Monday Night Raw that I didn't like was Akira Tozawa and Reginald's match. Everything else was pretty solid. It was spot on. Charlotte and Nikki's match was a repeat match, but it was a good repeat. It wasn't bad, and it did lend to the story of where they're headed into SummerSlam. What else happened tonight? We already talked about Jinder and Drew. We talked about Bobby accepted Goldberg's invitation to wrestle at WrestleMania. So, I mean, we all knew that was going to happen, but I guess Bobby Lashley had to make it official. But we did see Damian Priest.
Was it SummerSlam?
Right. We did see Damian Priest wrestling Sheamus. Well, not Sheamus. He did wrestle Sheamus. He wrestled John Morrison first. He beat Morrison, and then Sheamus came out there and attacked him, and Ricochet came out there for the save. And then it went into a tag team match with Ricochet and Damian Priest against Morrison and Sheamus, in which Damian Priest ended up getting the pin in that match as well. So we had that match. You also had T-Bar and Mace going up against Mansoor and Mustafa Ali. So I kind of wish Mustafa would have won. I feel like every time Mustafa goes to his hometown, he loses. He's from Chicago. They were in Chicago tonight, and Jack, can you turn that fan off for me? They had a pretty solid match. Like they were really doing well. Now I will say, T-Bar and Mace did, tag team them pretty well. They did utilize their cohesiveness to their advantage. Oh, Don got kicked out. Whenever you come back, the link is in there. They did use their cohesiveness to their advantage, but at the same time, Mansoor, like Ali, was really feeling the crowd, and the crowd was really feeling Ali, and that usually doesn't happen with Ali. A lot of times, the results or the reaction for Ali is very mixed, and I know the reason why it is, but Ali's a really, really good dude. And I like the way he wrestles. Even as a heel, he's still a great character. And I really hate that he gets the hate that he gets. And he's got to be a strong dude to take his ass out there every week and still do that. But ultimately, they had a good team. Mansoor and Ali make a really good team. And I really wish they would let go of this whole thing they got going on between the two of them and just be like, we're going to make this work. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And just be a team. Because I think if they really get them and work them together, they could be awesome. Like, you could have some good feuds with them. Like, them up against Lucha House Party. What? Are you serious? And then when New Day gets back, because, they're on their little hiatus, a break. When New Day gets back and they're finally going back into the tag team title, scene, you could have them go over on New Day. Let New Day be the heels and let Mansoor and Ali go over on New Day. You got a whole thing you can work through with this. Take them fucking titles over Omos and AJ Styles. For the love of God, please do it. And I think that the way they're going to do it is give it to Riddle and Orton, and then that team is going to break down and they'll end up dropping it to someone else. But please, God, please, I don't like Omos. They had a match with Omos, and I'm going to put y'all comments in a second. They had a match with Omos and Riddle today. Riddle tried, but it didn't give. And to be real with you, I didn't watch the match because I don't like the way Omos wrestles. I think that he's boring. He just big for no damn reason, and he don't do nothing for me. He does nothing for me. So I don't watch him wrestle. I don't care. I feel bad that Riddle had to take a pin from him, and that's saying a lot because I don't really give a shit about Riddle either. But but I feel bad that he had to eat the pin from Gorilla Monsoon. Okay. This is what he had to wrestle today. That's what he wrestled today. Hmm. All right. I hope they add Ricochet to the match at SummerSlam. P.S. I really like Mansoor and Mustafa team. It's really growing on me. I love them as a team. Yeah, Reggie needs to learn how to wrestle. He's clearly an acrobat, which is great and can be of use if he trains. He should go back to the NXT PC and train. I agree 100%. Ali is yeah, he's a very attractive man. Very easy on the eyes. His hair is beautiful. And his wife is a very pretty woman and he seems to love her deeply. They're having another baby and I think they're having a little girl. So congratulations to you, Ali, and you having another baby. I freaking love Ali. When Mansoor did that hug thing, I was like, oh, I love Mansoor. I love it. And when he cut his hair, I was like, oh, okay, I see you, Mansoor. I see you. We all felt bad for the weed man. She said, don't insult Gorilla Monsoon like that, child. This who won today. And Reggie promo work is okay. Just need to work on wrestling. I don't like his promo work either. I don't like Reggie the koala. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I need him to get it together. It's the only way I can explain it is I need Reginald to really work on wrestling. If he can't be a wrestler, then being on the sidelines as someone's valet, like he was for Naya, or as someone's manager, works fine for me. If he's gonna be a Robert Stone like character, that's fine. But in the end, Robert Stone is a wrestler first. Robert can take hits. Robert can give out hits. But Robert is in that managerial position right now, and that works for him. That works. Reginald don't read like that. He reads as a sidekick in many ways. Like I would rather him be Nikki Ash's sidekick, like a little mini superhero that helps her continue her matches and push through, than for him to be a standalone wrestler as a 24/7 champion. Like I really would rather him be her sidekick because that would work out in his favor. You feel what I'm saying? Just when Don gets kicked out, he could have said monkey mouth right then. I don't know what happened. He might have left because he might have got a phone call. But he'll be back. I'll put the link in there again so when he does come back, he can come right back in. All right. Robert is funny. I forgot about Robert Stone. I forgot Robert Stone was Robbie in Impact. He was. Cameron Grimes used to be in Impact too. I just saw a video on my actually I was watching a video on my Samsung. My Samsung has some free to play shows that they have on their streaming for Samsung. And you can watch old Ring of Honor matches. You can watch old Impact matches. You can watch a lot of old stuff, especially wrestling stuff on the Samsung device. It's pretty cool. I love Mansoor, but even when he was on one of the NXT Takeover kickoff shows, and was standing, but even more when he was on one of the NXT Takeover shows, kickoff shows, and was standing for Bianca and put that bitch ass Sam Roberts in his place. Period. Period. And LA Knight, aka LA Knight, yes, he was there. He was. Um I'll be back. All right. Cameron Grimes' name was Trevor Lee. Yeah, it was. Thank you. Shout out, go shout out. I appreciate that. I mean, his other name, Eli Drake. All right. So, yes, his name was Eli Drake on the indie circuit. And sorry about that. On the indie circuit, and it was Eli Drake when he was in NWA Power, but he changed it, of course, so WWE doesn't own that name, and in case he leaves, he can go ahead and use his indie circuit name that he created. Yes, Cameron Grimes is hilarious. I'll give Cameron his props.
I just wanna go where you go tonight. Baby, hold my hand, take me one more time. I don't wanna be without you again. I want you to stay, cause it feels so great. Bye, see you good, come back, need you. I think about you, what can I do? I wanna know if you think of me too. Baby, come over, let me kiss you. How don't need you, how don't need you, baby, tell me, baby, tell me. How don't need you, how don't need you, baby, tell me, baby, tell me. I just wanna go where you go tonight. Baby, hold my hand, take me one more time. I don't wanna be without you again. I want you to stay, cause it feels so great. Bye, see you good, come back, need you. I think about you, what can I do? I wanna know if you think of me too. Baby, come over, let me kiss you. How don't need you, how don't need you, baby, tell me, baby, tell me. How don't need you, how don't need you, baby, tell me, baby, tell me. I just wanna go where you go tonight. Baby, hold my hand, take me one more time. I don't wanna be without you again. I want you.
All right, so outside of our good friend Ali and Mansoor losing their match tonight, Keith Lee, my boy, my favorite, Keith Lee got the W today. That's what I was talking about. I was like, yes, I felt that in my spirit. I needed that. I was like, thank you, Lord. Listen, I'm aware that it is okay to lose sometimes. I'm 100% aware of that. I'm also aware that I'm extremely biased to Keith Lee. I'm very aware of that. But here's the thing. I don't mind Keith Lee losing, but I wanted Keith Lee to get some traction. And I felt like with Karrion's situation coming from NXT, it didn't make sense for him to win. And then the storyline that I was told was supposed to happen was that Karrion was supposed to lose again to Jeff Hardy that next week. But with Jeff Hardy catching COVID, that ended up derailing that. However, they could have continued with the story and have him lose to Keith Lee last week. And then Scarlett's supposed to come in and be like his beacon. You know what I'm saying? His light in the darkness. She's supposed to be the one to put him back on the straight and narrow, the path of dominance that he's supposed to have. So that was supposed to be the story, right? But of course, I don't know what happened. Either they decided that, Keith Lee, they want to go back and forth, or they want to, I don't know what they did, but I feel like they could have gone ahead with the story either way, but they chose not to. Let me put some of these comments in. The Spirit Bomb to the TikTok man down for a few. The TikTok man down for a few. Not the TikTok man down a few pegs. I can't read today. I'm sorry. Apparently, the story is Karrion is going to keep losing for Scarlett to debut and build him up as a force. Yeah, it's just what I said. So, anyways, we had 3 women's matches tonight, which is awesome. Like I said, it was Rhea Ripley versus Nia. Very good match. Love that match. I want to see them fight again, to be honest with you. And what you saw was a mini implosion of Shayna and Nia Jax, which I really, really liked. I thought that was a good way to segue them apart. Now your women's division is a little bit deeper. You've got a little bit more depth to your women's division with those 2 separate, 2 former champions in their own right. Nia Jax is a former Raw Women's Champion, former 2-time tag team champion. So she is definitely a contender for the title, as is Shayna, a force to be reckoned with, and a former NXT Women's Champion, the longest reigning NXT Women's Champion in history. She's a 2-time NXT Women's Champion, too, at that. So Shayna Baszler is no slouch, and a former tag team champion, Raw, a former women's tag team champion. So Shayna's no slouch, and Shayna has a lot to offer. So I'm very curious as to what they're going to do. If they have those 2 fight it out, and then whoever wins is the one who challenges Nikki or whoever is champion after Survivor Series is over, then I think that would be great. But they got a lot of wiggle room with those 2 being there, and you could have a lot of feuds outside of the title. Now, a lot of people don't really care for Drew, but as I said on many occasions, the best thing for Drew McIntyre was to pull him out of title contingency, drop him down into the mid-card division, but don't give him a title shot. Make him have a feud with somebody who needs to be built up. And Jinder was the perfect person. It works. It makes Drew still look like the baby face without him being a severe baby face, and it still makes Jinder look like the perfect heel. It really, really helps both of them. It helps rebuild or revive Drew McIntyre. Meanwhile, it's building back up Jinder Mahal. Very smart. And that's what they should always do when they get the opportunity. Does it hurt Cross going up against someone with Joe? Does it hurt Cross going up against Joe? Someone like Joe? If he loses, I mean, of course he's going to drop the title. I'm confused as to what you're asking me, actually. So I'm going to be nice and ask you to retype that, because I feel like I don't quite understand what you're asking me. I'm sorry, Jonelle, if I'm misinterpreting what you're saying, but I want to make sure when I answer the question that I actually answer your question. So if you could retype it, that would be great. Lovely. I feel like I missed the part when the bleeding happened. I think we did, but there's YouTube pages that got the botch. What is it? Botchmania. They got it up there, or somebody got it up there. I'm sure it's all over YouTube by now, or Instagram. Anyways, so there is. What else happened today? The second women's match of the night was Tamina versus Piper Niven. Also another good match. Piper really took it to Tamina, honestly. Piper was not in the mood already because Eva was on 1,000. Does it hurt Cross going up against somebody like Samoa Joe? Only if he loses. I mean, in a way, no, because going up against somebody like Joe does two things. One, it proves your prowess because Joe is the kind of person who's going to test your limits. Whether you're prepared or not, Samoa Joe is going to make you prepared. Number two, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And a lot of people don't give Joe his flowers. And outside of kayfabe and all the joking that I do when it comes to Joe, I respect Joe's character and I respect his work as a wrestler. And he's one of the greatest wrestlers I've seen. And he definitely doesn't get a lot of the respect that he deserves. And sometimes WWE is at fault for that. But when it comes to him going up against somebody like Cross, if it hurts him in any way, it's going to expose what he's not capable of, which is he's very weak in promos. Promos are not Cross's strong point, and that's very clear. So Samoa Joe is going to lean on that to force him out of that, which is highly smart. I mean, he's a veteran in the game. He knows what he's doing. And he's going to expose him for what, and if he doesn't live up to that and to rise to the occasion after the exposure, he's just going to keep getting exposed if he keeps going up against somebody like Joe. Do I think the match was going to be great? Yes. I think Samoa Joe and Cross's match is going to be fine. They have a similar... Samoa Joe does have a fighting style that works in favor in terms of back and forth with Cross. But I think where Cross will probably not get the gist of I think where Cross will probably misstep is not thinking about how dangerous Samoa Joe really can be. He thinks because Joe's shorter and he talks a lot and he's blatant in your face that he's going to be able to overpower him and he could just do whatever he wants because he's champion and he's bigger than most guys. That is a grave error on a lot of people's part when dealing with Samoa Joe. He needs to be prepared for anything when dealing with him. And I don't think it's going to hurt him necessarily in terms of diminishing his light, but it's very clear that Karrion Kross needs Scarlett in order to shine the brightest, especially in the character that he's presenting himself in. And if he doesn't tighten up in promo skills, it's a lot of people on the roster right now on the flagship roster who will eat him alive on that microphone, from MVP to Sheamus. Who else is on the roster? Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, even the smaller people like Ricochet and Ali, and even Dijakovic can tear his ass up. Keith Lee's over there. Like, you put him in the midst of all of that, he's gonna get swallowed. Like, he's gonna be a big fish in a massive lake, and they're gonna eat his ass alive on that roster. Period, point blank. So to finish the question, do I think Kross going up against somebody like Joe is gonna hurt him? No, I don't. I think it'll only help him understand that he needs to improve in the best way possible, if that makes sense. All right. Been having a lot of technical difficulties today, but we're gonna push through. When they split Eva and Piper, how do you think they're going to be in the women's division, and what will their places be? Piper's probably going to get the Nia treatment. I would put Piper in matches against people that she could wrestle and really get a lot of work with. Like her, she would go up against somebody like Shayna. I put her up against Charlotte to help build her up. And you know what? That's another thing. Not to transition from your question, because I'll go back to it. Charlotte not getting enough credit for what she is doing and the work she doing with Nikki Cross, because nobody says anything about how Charlotte is helping to build Cross, and she doesn't have to, but she is, because they could have easily removed Charlotte from this situation, going up against Cross. They could have had Rhea doing it and made Charlotte go up against Nia. But they kept Charlotte in that position, and that's because Charlotte is the opportunity. She says what she means, what she says, and what she says is true. But having Cross go over on her, probably one of the most villainous characters they've got in the WWE right now, really helps bolster her superhero gimmick. So Charlotte do deserve some credit for at least helping to get Nikki Cross over. Moving back to your question, I would immediately push Piper to have cold matches with people and maybe start a possible feud with whoever she has the best chemistry with. As far as Eva is concerned, I don't see Eva doing anything outside of what she's doing. I don't understand why she wears a wrestling uniform. It seems like she's never going to actually wrestle. When she does get in the ring, what she does is minimal compared to what the other girls are doing. And I truly despise it, but there's really nothing I could do about it. So I've learned to deal with it. I'm just curious as to what they think. I'm curious as to where they think this is going to go when it comes to Eva and how this is going to be able to push forward. I'm very curious about that. But I'm not sure of where she will be or what they're going to do with her, because she works better when she has someone like Piper on her side. She would need to have somebody like Dana, somebody like Piper. She would need to have a wingman in order for her character to work. I would put Eva with a male character if I was them. Like, put her with Drew to help bolster Drew Gulak in the mid-card division. I'd split Rude and Dolph Ziggler up and put her, if she was moved to SmackDown, I'd put her with Dolph Ziggler and let them terrorize SmackDown for a little while as a tag team. Like, I would do shit like that with her. I don't see Eva doing anything outside of being a valet and a pseudo wrestler in the WWE. She's not really doing any wrestling at all. Drew's new gear was nice. Had his little Tarzan. I'm assuming you said, oh, it's tartan. That's the fabric. Child. Tartan. I was like, ooh, nice. If she was on SmackDown, I feel like Piper would do good with people like Tony, who she has worked with also. Yeah, they were like best friends. And when she quit in NXT UK, Piper's the one who was there to throw in the towel for her because Tony wouldn't quit. Hi, Nicole. Man, this corned beef sandwich busting right now. Hell no. Well, eat your ass off. Enjoy. Anyway, back to Monday Night Raw. So we had that. Like I said, we had Mansoor's match. Did I miss anything? I already covered Nikki Cross. Well, I didn't cover it here, but I did on Instagram, and that's probably gone. It didn't save none of my lives. I don't know what the hell is going on Instagram, but it is tripping. It kicked me out of the live 3 times. Oh, it was tripping. So I'm going to go to SB Nation and see if I covered all the matches that happened. All right, Goldberg, Drew McIntyre, Nia. Oh, their name is Extinction. Oh, that's a cute name for Mason T-Bar. I didn't know that was their name. I thought they were just Mason T-Bar. Damian Priest versus John Morrison. That turned into a tag team match with Morrison and Sheamus going up against Priest and Ricochet. Riddle and Omos. Karrion Kross versus Keith Lee. And then they had that terrible match with Akira Tozawa and Reggie. And then we had the Charlotte Flair No Holds Barred match, which I really loved. I really like that match. I ordered buffalo wide wing. I ordered buffalo chicken dip and it was dry as hell. Ew. Did you cover Alexa getting beat up? I did on Instagram, but I'll cover it here too. Nia looked absolutely beautiful. I love her hair. I think her hair is so pretty and curly. It is so pretty. I wish they would give her a new render with her natural curly hair the way that it is. Oh, she looks so pretty. And I don't know if they put some pieces in it to kind of fill it out, but that woman is stunning with her hair like that. And I was just like, just keep this. Please, for the love of God. I thought her new gear is cute. I thought her gear was absolutely beautiful. She looked beautiful. I was like, ma'am, you did not have to come out here and stunt on us like this. Hold on. I found a good picture of Nia. I want to put it up. Because she's just so pretty. I was just like, oh, she's stunning. I was like, oh my God. You did not have to shit on us like this. What did I do with it? So, anyways, where did it say the picture at? I can't see worth a damn. And got glasses on the first. Luckily, Janae ain't here to yell at me because she usually yells at me. Nia really is giving off goddess who could kill you if she wanted to and look good while doing it, right? Like she's really stunning with her hair like that. And it's not, and then her gear, like I said, her gear is just really flattering. It's all black, it's trimmed in gold, but it's very subtle. And it just looks really good on her. And I liked it. And then she's lost some weight, but not a lot. She's slimming down slowly, but she just looks really, really good. And I like Nia. I do give Nia a bit of a I give Nia a lot of shit because sometimes Nia be on some bullshit. But when her hair, she wears her hair like this, and that the gear that she wears, she looks absolutely beautiful. She is just a very, very pretty woman. And I was just like, girl, you could have been having your hair like this. Out here shitting on hoes. I see somebody on YouTube trying me. Okay. Nia really is giving off goddess who could kill you. She wanted to. Like, what did we peasants, except President Tiff, do to deserve this? Not peasants. Y'all are not peasants. You are citizens of the United States of Tiffany. Citizens have rights, but it's still a dictatorship. I am the law. That's the way it is. Anywhoosies. So I liked Monday Night Raw today. I thought that it was interesting. There was not a lot of fluff and filler in Monday Night Raw. It was a simple show. It flowed nicely. Everybody was able to watch it and actually enjoy the show. It wasn't a lot going on, but it was a continuation of leading into SummerSlam, and everything is set up pretty well. I thought they did a very nice job with the changing of the flow of the show and really making it interesting to watch. Instead of just focusing on Bobby Lashley and Goldberg for 30 minutes, they got them out the way in the beginning of the show, and then they started to showcase the other talent. The only thing that I want them to do now is to focus on bringing in guys like Humberto, guys like Drew Gulak, because those types of matches is what's going to help keep Raw on the air and not people getting so people don't get so bored watching the show, because it can be very challenging to watch it. Did Nia used to be a model? Yes, she did. She was a teen model and she modeled when she was much smaller, and then she became a plus size model. So she's modeled for a while. She knows what to do. She's been that girl for a little bit of time. But yes, she was a model. And then I don't know how she got into wrestling. I don't remember how Nia got into wrestling. But anywhoosies, we are all done here talking about Monday Night Raw. If y'all anything y'all want to talk about, any questions, I will answer them. Okay. Now I see somebody YouTube channel where they talking shit about Nia Jax hair. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Who channel is this? Nia Jax's worst look. Tamina and Taya defeat. Okay. They don't really got nothing to say. They just said it's her worst look. I don't like the way that to me that's very disrespectful. Like, you got a whole YouTube video dedicated to her hair. That don't make no damn sense. Anyway, so let's talk about SummerSlam. Okay, since we are done talking about Monday Night Raw, let's talk about SummerSlam. All right, now we all know that SummerSlam is set to be in Las Vegas. Okay, so what is the setup for Las Vegas is already obviously set in stone what's going to happen, and we know majority of the matches that are going to happen at SummerSlam. We know that, one, Bianca and Sasha are probably going to duke it out at SummerSlam, as is Roman Reigns and John Cena. But that could change. Like, John Cena and Roman Reigns could have an added addition of Finn Balor in that match, because technically Roman did accept Balor's challenge for the Universal Championship. So if Balor was smart, he'd make his play this week on Friday Night SmackDown, which I don't expect Balor to just lay down and let John Cena come in and take his spot, because he was the challenge that Roman accepted. So if it ends up being a triple threat at SummerSlam because of Roman's big mouth, then so be it. The Tribal Chief more than likely will go up against Finn and John Cena. At least I would do it that way. That's a bigger match. You can have the oldie but goldie fans there for John Cena, and the newbies there for Finn Balor, and of course the current love affair that most people have with the Tribal Chief. You will pull in every aspect of the fan base by bringing all three of those men together in that match. Now, is it a bit much for Roman to have a secondary triple threat match in his, title reign? Yes and no. Yes, because first of all, it didn't have to be a triple threat match at WrestleMania. It just didn't have to be. But that's what they decided to do. Live your best life. It still was a decent match. However, I think this match between Balor and John Cena and Roman would be fun to watch. Now, I don't know about Bianca accepting Zelina Vega's challenge. I don't know what that is. I'm confused. So you're gonna have to explain that to me, Khalil, because I didn't get to see SmackDown Friday. I only got to see pieces of SmackDown. So I know that they came out there and was talking shit to Bianca and they beat her up. But I didn't know anything about Bianca accepting a challenge from Zelina Vega. I don't know anything about that. Personally, I would rather watch a match between Bianca and Sasha than to add Zelina Vega to it, because Zelina Vega's character is not built on being an amazing wrestler, and that's no shade to her skill or what she's capable of. We talking about straight kayfabe and what she actually can do.
And we seen Bianca beat her ass already. She wasn't awesome did that.
But that's not the point. Like, the point I'm trying to make is, like, Vega isn't exactly the wrestling goddess. Like, she's not the girl you put in to have the big matches. Vega's the girl you use to extend the storyline and make it more interesting. And that's what I mean. I'm not trying to say she can't wrestle, because she obviously can, but I wouldn't add Zelina Vega to the match. I think it would be overkill. You already have a triple threat match with the women on Raw. I don't think you need a triple threat match for the women on SmackDown too. Zelina challenged Bianca early on in the night before the tag team match was announced. After Zelina got into the ring, she asked for a title opportunity, and Bianca said, "Zelina, you're on." Then Carmella hit her. Then they started jumping her. I see. Anyway, what about a woman's fatal four-way, or just leave it with Sasha Banks and Bianca? I'd rather have it with just Sasha and Bianca. I really think that Sasha and Bianca by themselves could really tear some shit up. We already know what they're capable of and what they can do, but I want to see what it looks like when it's fueled with just unbridled rage and anger. And I feel like Bianca's gonna give us that. Please, God, give us that. I hope she gives us that Friday when we finally get to watch SmackDown and Bianca's out there ready to beat some ass. And that's just the only way I can really explain it. Now, I wouldn't put Carmella in there. I wouldn't put neither Zelina or Carmella in there. I don't care if she accepted Zelina's challenge or not. I'd have her challenge Zelina Friday. I'd let Zelina go up against her Friday for the title, and I would have her beat her. And then you can have Sasha come in there and try to attack her again, but let it turn into a brawl. Don't let it be a straight up beatdown. Have them fighting like they did Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar. They let them go at it. They let them go back and forth. Let them have the same energy. You feel what I'm saying? So, what is next? We already cleared Roman and we got Seth Rollins and Edge. So for sure you're gonna have Seth Rollins versus Edge at SummerSlam as well. And this feud is heating up too. I did see that Edge attacked Seth Rollins attacked Edge on SmackDown Friday. Was it with the camera? Did he hit him with the camera? I can't remember. Y'all tell me in the comments. And in the playback, y'all probably tell me. But anyway, he got attacked. So obviously it's a lot of back and forth going on between Seth Rollins and Edge. And I'm very, very curious about how this is going to play out between the two of them. And I'm interested in the match. I think the match is going to be really, really interesting. So next match, Sheamus is more than likely gonna go up against Damian Priest at SummerSlam. If he doesn't, I'll be shocked. And it's probably gonna be for that pretty little United States Championship, which they need to put on Damian Priest, because that is when you will have this whole story, this whole thing just open up, and a lot of people will be able to challenge for it. Again, you can utilize Morrison and Miz and have them going after Priest. They have a pretty decent storyline with each other, and they have a nice rapport. It works. You can move on from there, and if you want, you can turn Ricochet into a heel and have Ricochet go up against Damian Priest, or turn Humberto Carrillo into a heel and have him go up against Priest. It'll be a nice match to watch and a good way to see how everything works. Hi, Janae. How are you? You're awake. You should be asleep. Anywhoosies, let me put some of y'all comments in. Seth hit Edge with the camera. Okay, so he did hit him with the camera. Good. So I was right about that. Awesome sauce. She said, I had some bad salad and it just future endeavored me. Oh, shit. Well, we all been going through it, because today I was live 3 times on Instagram and I got kicked off all 3 times. The first 2 times I got kicked off was because I tried to add Don, and it basically kicked Don. It kicked me off of Instagram and completely out of the app. The last time I was on my iPhone, and the app completely kicked me out of the live and said it was a red bar at the bottom. Ooh, that was pretty. Those hot tops?
Those.
How much are those?
Let me see.
It completely kicked me out of the app and was just like, the live is ended. Didn't even give me an opportunity.
Come out August.
I don't know, really, but I really like Damian Priest and Matt Riddle's handshake, even if it's stupid.
Shit.
I like it. It's funny.
Hey, 220.
I don't care.
Come out August 28th.
Do you think they should start trying to do Morrison versus Miz feud? I think they should wait for WrestleMania Hollywood time next year so they can have a match on the big show. That's actually a really good idea. I wouldn't mind that. I think Morrison and Miz are happy doing what they're doing. They like helping to build up the new talent, and that's what they're doing for Priest. So it's fine that they're still a team, or that Morrison is still, on his side. It's cool. No issues. They fucked up Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt wanted to leave. They didn't want to give Bray Wyatt his opportunities. It was creative differences, and he wanted to leave. Let it go. I have a theory. It's 100% wrong, but it's a theory. How is it wrong, but it's a theory? It's a theory, so let's hear your theory. If you're not going to be able to come in and say it, then you can type it out. It's fine. I'll still listen to the theory or read it. Anywhoosies, while Janae's trying to get her theory typed out, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next couple of possible matches that'll happen at SummerSlam. So we've already covered Cena and Roman and Finn Balor. We covered Damian Priest and Sheamus. We covered she said she's gonna find her headphones. Cool. And we covered who was it? So we haven't covered Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Nikki Ash. So do I think Priest should now get the U.S. title, get rid of old Sheamus? I guess he'll get rid of I don't see why Priest wouldn't get the title off Sheamus. He's not old. Sheamus is a pretty decent dude, but he's not old. Anyways, so I want Nikki Ash to keep her title personally. I'm not saying I don't like Rhea Ripley or Charlotte Flair. I love all of 3 of those women. I think they're great. But I would prefer Nikki keep the title and then she drops it to someone new. Somebody who currently on the roster hasn't been champion or hasn't been champion for a while. Shayna Baszler would be a good option for that. It would be fun to see what they would do with that. So that would be my she's fucking stupid. That would be my assumption of how I would do it. But I don't know. I kind of feel like they're going to give the title back to Charlotte, which I really don't want them to do that. I'd rather they trade Charlotte to SmackDown and then have her disrupt whatever the hell is going on SmackDown and really give Bianca a run for her money. Because they do have the draft coming up soon. I think it's in October this year. They're going to be drafting people soon, and it'd be a really good idea to have Charlotte over there rather than to keep her on Monday Night Raw. I think she would fare better on SmackDown, and it'd be a better competition for her. At least me personally. We already covered who was it? Bianca's match with Sasha, possibly adding Zelina, which I don't see. I'd be pissed if they added Zelina, personally. I don't know what they're going to do with Apollo Crews. I'm a little confused about where Apollo is and what he's been doing. For the most part, like before they started showing Apollo again when they started going on tour, Apollo hasn't really been seen that much. The last time he was seen was when, what was the name? Commander Aziz. When the Commander had a match and he wasn't out there when he had that match?
No, he was seen after that. When Big E won Money in the Bank, he was addressing the crowd that Friday night Apollo came out there.
That wasn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about him actually being there to wrestle, like being in character to wrestle. They attacked each other, but they didn't wrestle that night. Either if they did, they didn't show us because they cut to commercial and they ended up going to coming back and they were in the ring. They fought a little bit and that was it. And when they came back, Big E was gone and they had moved on to the next segment. That was a little bit of a weird night though. Like they Rhea versus Charlotte, same old shit. Are you gonna contribute anything to the conversation besides antagonistic bullshit? Or are you just gonna constantly just comment antagonistic bullshit? It just seems like that's where you are. That's just how it feels. I just found out that Mansoor and Ali are like 10 years apart. It's random fact. I just wanted to put it out there. 10 years apart. Who's older? Is Ali older than Mansoor?
I would think it was Mansoor, because I think Ali's in his early 30s. Wait, no, maybe it's Mansoor.
Let me see.
Either way, both of them look good.
Very good for their age.
Yeah. I was like, they finna win at the Saudi show.
He's 25. Mustafa's 35. Mustafa's older than Mansoor. That's crazy. Mustafa looks much younger than Mansoor does.
That is true.
Worst IC champion, Apollo Crews. Yep, you're just gonna keep commenting antagonistic bullshit. So that's where I'm gonna leave you. If Bianca is still champion, that would be awesome to see her and Charlotte fight. But I agree. Put that belt on Cesaro. Nah, because Apollo was in that tag match against Shinsuke and Big E. That was last Friday, if I recall. That was not the Friday after Money in the Bank. The Friday after Money in the Bank was the first time I had seen Apollo in at least a week or two. He hadn't been seen on television for almost 2 weeks. Commander Aziz had a match, but he wasn't there, if I remember.
I have a feeling Apollo's going to drop the title.
I think he should. I mean, He's been champion long enough, and I wouldn't have a problem with him dropping the title. He did fine as a heel. That's fine. I remember one time my Facebook had locked me out, and I couldn't get back on for 3 days. I don't even go on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm rarely on Facebook.
Cesaro for IC Championship. Okay, great. Could you see a fatal 5-way waiting for the Intercontinental Championship? Do I see a fatal 5-way happening?
If they do that, I'd feel like maybe it could be like a ladder match or something.
I mean, who would do it?
Apollo, Big E, Cesaro. I wouldn't put Sam. Well, no, I wouldn't put Big E in it because he has the Money in the Bank.
Exactly.
Thing. So I would do Cesaro, Apollo. I would start building up Shane Thorne.
I forgot Shane was there.
And then I would put him in that. I would put Kevin in it because it's Kevin Owens.
Sami Zayn's there.
Yeah, but Sami already had the title.
Yeah, but it's he could just be there to add to the match.
It would be, especially if it's like a ladder match, it'd be a good match. But honestly, yeah, I would build up Shane Thorne. I would put the title on Cesaro, and then I would have Shane Thorne be like his first like match and have them, because Shane Thorne's he's actually a pretty good wrestler.
Oh no, he's very good. I don't take anything from Shane Thorne.
You know what? Well,
they have to use him.
Yeah, and then after Shane Thorne, I would probably do Cesaro, then Shinsuke Nakamura.
Well, Shin had it. What was that, last year? Year before last?
Yeah, he wouldn't win though, because I would be positioning Shinsuke to go after Roman.
I mean, that's a good feud, a good in between feud to kind of clean things up before you start with whatever he wants to do, whatever they want to do with Roman leading into Mania.
He would be a filler feud, and I think that would be really good for a Shinsuke push. And
Liv is
then
27. I'm losing my mind with all these guys' ages. Like, what? What did you expect Liv not to be 27? She looks very young for her age, but I knew she was over 25. I knew that. Sorry, I thought you guys were talking about when you last saw Apollo. Well, the last time that I saw Apollo was I didn't see him wrestle, but I knew he had the match last Friday. What I was talking about was before he had the match and before he appeared on SmackDown when they had the live show with Big E come out there as the Money in the Bank winner. I hadn't seen him before that. And I was just like, I feel like I hadn't seen him in weeks. I don't have a Facebook because Zuckerberg can suck an egg. I will say this. Facebook make it real easy to market your business. I can tell you that. You'd be surprised all the shit you can see when you have a business on Facebook. You can market it specifically to people who want to see your business. So if a person puts on Facebook that they like cookies and you got a cookie bakery, all you have to do is put up a post about cookies and then say you want to promote it. And what it'll do is take you to the app where you will be able to pinpoint everybody on Facebook, billions of users who specifically like cookies. And that message will go out to them only. It's very, very efficient. And a little bit creepy. Just putting it out there. If CM Punk shows up on AEW, they should get Becky return at SummerSlam, showing up either Sasha or Charlotte. What?
from what I'm hearing, Becky's not coming back as of right now, until October.
What does CM Punk showing up on AEW have to do with Becky returning?
Moving on.
I don't understand what one has to do with the other. I feel like I just lost 3 brain cells reading that. But also, who would eat the pin in the Fatal 5-Way? All those guys need a win.
Apollo would eat the pin.
Apollo, I would make Apollo, or I would, if you don't plan on pushing Sammy in any way, shape, or form, I would make Sammy eat the pin. But I would really rather it be Apollo.
Yeah, Apollo can eat the pin. See, for me, if it's a 5-way, for me personally, I would want it to be like a stipulation. So it could be like a ladder match or something. But yeah, I would have Apollo. If it's just going to be a regular match, I would have Apollo eat the pin. I would also have a stipulation where Commander Aziz cannot be ringside.
I agree.
Because Commander Aziz, in that nail drop, whatever he calls that finishing move.
I am saying about the viewership reach. Becky is a great marketing superstar and can go head to head with Punk, but you don't have to do that.
But I wouldn't even see it that way, just because
I don't understand.
For one, Dynamite's on Wednesdays.
They're on separate days.
And 2, even with CM Punk coming back, I don't think they would reach the viewership that Raw. Even though Raw is doing around 2 million. Even with Punk coming in, they would probably go to about maybe 1.4 million, and then it would drop again because the hype would be over.
But Raw it would drop right after that, like it did with that match with Jade Cargill and what's his face?
Shaq.
What's his name? Yeah, Shaq. This is the thing. I don't think WWE is setting themselves up to directly compete with AEW. AEW is, but WWE isn't doing that. And it's very clear by how they operate. If they were directly trying to compete with AEW, I promise you, you would know that. They would be very, very vocal about it. They did it with WCW, and if you recall some years back when Impact was doing what they were doing great. Great numbers. They had great TV footing. They were shutting WWE's ass down, especially in ratings. But WWE didn't say anything about Impact. They let them do what they were doing. They didn't care. All of a sudden, you started seeing wrestlers leaving Impact and going to WWE, though, and Impact started to go down. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with AEW, but I think where people are making a big mistake is you're creating a war where there isn't one. In order for there to be a war, two parties have to participate, not one. It just sounds like an old adage, like there's a dog and there's the moon. The dog is barking at the moon. The moon does not bark back at the dog.
Yeah, like I said, and even then, if you look at Raw, and even though they have lost viewership, they're still beating AEW by close to 1 million views. And then SmackDown's beating AEW by over 1 million views. So, because what you guys need to realize, so when the first initial reports of the viewership comes out, that's just the initial reports. You need to wait a couple of days, and then the actual reports come out. When those actual reports come out, it's usually by a couple 100,000. So technically, Raw is usually averaging about 2 million, and then SmackDown is averaging about 2.1 million. So as big as CM Punk is, I don't think him being on AEW is going to consistently give them an extra like million views to where they're around the 2 million mark, especially if he's not going to be on the show. Because if you notice, when they have big things going on, that's when a lot of people tune in. And when it's just something regular and not really like big, they're under that. They're around 800,000. That's why you guys also notice that they're starting to do what NXT does, where they have special programming on weekdays. You know how NXT would have certain special things on like a Tuesday that's not a pay-per-view, but they give it a name. Because now you see they have Fight for the Fallen on a Wednesday. They had Fighter Fest on the Wednesday, and normally those were like pay-per-views.
Yeah,
so they're doing like extra special things to get more viewers in.
which is fine. They're well within the right to do that. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't have a problem with them having Fighter Fest or Fight for the Fallen during a weekday show. I like weekday pay-per-views. I liked it in NXT, and I don't have a problem with it in AEW. What I generally have an issue with is the constant bickering between the fan bases. That's what I have a problem with. Anything else that they do, really, I've just gotten to the point where I just don't care. And they're going to do what they want regardless. So as far as CM Punk possibly coming back, do I think that's a boom for AEW? Sure. I mean, CM Punk is a commodity whether people like him or not. He was one of the general aspects of WWE for quite some time. He was a main fixture, multiple time WWE champion, multiple time champion overall. He just was the guy for a very long time. So I'm not opposed to CM Punk coming back if that's what he wants to do. That's totally up to him. And if AEW, obviously they want him, that's fine too. That's something they're going to have to deal with because CM Punk is not an easy person to deal with. Furthermore, as far as WWE is concerned, as long as they keep themselves on the path of making sure they're keeping their superstars happy, we all know they have issues with that. And as long as they at least attempt to get themselves together when it comes to maintaining their superstars and the morality amongst the locker room and the superstars and keeping everybody together and and allowing people to kind of shift and change things a little bit, they might fare better when it comes to retaining their superstars. Employee retention is down, obviously, in the WWE, and that's never a good look to anybody. So that's the only thing that I want, and I just want AEW not to stunt Queen so much and really focus on the brand, but make sure your brand has an identity, because to me, they don't. Their focus is the elite and the brand is the elite. And I feel like those guys are on their way out, and you need to be focusing on what your brand is going to be when they're not there. Because Kenny Omega can't wrestle forever. Neither can the Young Bucks. Cody can't wrestle forever. And the only one that has any longevity in that group for me is Hangman Adam Page. So, and he's not even officially a part of the group kayfabe wise. He's out. So it irritates me a little bit. But eventually I hope that they would get it together. Aaliyah said elimination would probably make it go faster. Like an elimination fatal five-way match.
Or like an elimination chamber kind of thing.
If they put them in the chamber, there ain't no point in having ladders. Like,
yeah.
Like, I mean,
elimination chamber wouldn't be a bad idea.
No, but for the IC championship, they usually do the chamber for the bigger titles. But I don't know, switching it up a little bit might work out in their favor.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that because then you could have 6 people. So you can have Apollo, Sammy, Kevin, Slapnuts.
Slapnuts.
You can throw in Baron Corbin just to throw in Baron Corbin.
Well, Baron Corbin is there, yeah.
Yeah, and you can throw in Shinsuke.
Right, WWE is not worried with AEW. AEW be living in their minds. I don't think they're not worried. I think when I say that WWE is not competing directly with them, I don't think that they are. I do think that NXT does compete with them because to me they're on the same level. So when Vince says WWE isn't competing with AEW, I think he speaks in code. The terminology would be more specific. The flagship shows are not competing directly with AEW, which in his defense, they aren't. You're talking about a totally different genre of wrestling. AEW is a niche style wrestling. WWE is mainstream. Those are two different things, and you can't compare them because they're not competing on the same level. And I don't mean it in terms of WWE being better than AEW. I mean storyline wise, the way it's booked, the way it's built, the way it is presented. All of that is a completely different thing. Whereas NXT has a little bit more of that niche value that AEW has. It's a little more rustic. It's a little bit more indie style. It's not heavily story based, but you do get storylines. Same thing with AEW. Sometimes you'll get more cold matches than you do storylines, and that happens, which I'm totally fine with. It's wrestling at the end of the day. So I won't say that they're not worried about AEW. I think they recognize that they're there, but they're not trying to directly compete with them. And I think what Vince said is plausible. He said at the time that WCW was trying to take them out, they did have the money of Ted Turner, and Ted Turner owned TNT. He owned CNN at that time. He was the guy. Like, he had all of the money in the world to do everything in his power to take Vince McMahon down. That's why they directly competed with WCW, because they matched energies. Right now, the Jaguars, what is it? Jacksonville's it's Jacksonville's football team. He's not coming in and like, oh yeah, let's go after Vince McMahon. Like, that's not happening. So until that happens, I don't think anything's going to be recognized in terms of on that scale.
I think
eating bar for bar like that.
I think the downfall, not saying like the downfall of like AEW going out of business. I think what could potentially be a trickle down effect is, so Tony Khan's dad, I think he's worth like $9 billion. And in an interview, his dad said, you know, at first he was against AEW, and then he thought about it. And in the interview, he goes, I told my kids, well, when I die, all of that money is going to go to you guys. So you might as well have fun with it now. So Tony Khan does kind of have a blank check when it comes to the bank account to what he can do for AEW. And that's why you see him continually signing these wrestlers and bringing in all these independent talents for 1 shows, 2 shows, 3 shows, because he has the money to do so. The problem is when you have all these wrestlers, but you only have one televised show now, a second one coming in on TBS, but you're only on the Turner Network. At least with WWE, they have Fox and they have the USA Network, and AEW are not going to be able to go to those networks because that's going to be competing. So I think that's going to be a huge issue because the more and more he signs these wrestlers, he's going to have to do something with them. And after a while, only being on, Dark and Elevation is only going to go so much. And eventually wrestlers are going to get mad because it's like, okay, well, I left WWE because I didn't have this creative freedom. I'm in AEW and I have all this creative freedom,
but nowhere to show it.
but I'm not wrestling.
Exactly.
And for some of the wrestlers, like the Darby Allins and the Sammy Guevaras and, the Ethan Allen Pages, yeah, they're on TV a lot. But when you have people like Jurassic Express that were mainstays on Dynamite in the very beginning, and now you'll see them on Elevation or Dark, and you'll see maybe one of them on Dynamite getting fed to like Omega or whatever the case may be. In my mind, I have to feel like after a while, does that start to get old? Because yes, you have that creative freedom, but you're
How
not in a
far does
position.
that freedom go when you're talking about? And then it's not that he can't sign who he wants. He definitely can.
Oh yeah, he can.
But he has to learn how to work with the roster he has. We say that about WWE all the time. Don't sign a bunch of people that, one, you can't pay, and number two, you're not going to use. Why are you hoarding the talent? You know what I mean? Like, don't sit up there and hold on to these people and stifle them from being great somewhere else because you don't want anybody else to have them. It's selfish.
Like
What's
when
your
you look at
opinion about Bullet Club, Civil War, Omega versus Switchblade, Jay White? Well, if this is the type of feud that you're looking for in terms of impact, it's going to work out in their favor as long as Jay White wins. As far as a Bullet Club fan, if you are an OG Bullet Club fan, you're going to root for Jay White. If you are a Bullet Club fan of the Cleaner and the Elite, then you're going to vote for Kenny Omega. My vote is going to be for Jay White. The reality is it does Impact no good to have Kenny Omega as their Impact champion. It only bolsters Kenny Omega's ego as the champion. It doesn't do anything for Impact. Bottom line wise, views wise, ratings, it doesn't do anything for them. So it'd be smarter to drop that title to Jay White, especially if he plans on staying in Impact. I'd drop that title to him, or I would have Chris Bay go up against Omega and take the title off of him. One of the two, since they have Chris Bay join the Bullet Club. He's first Black member of the Bullet Club too. But good luck to him. TNA was doing great and made a bad decision to run the same day and time as WWE. I don't think that was the only reason why TNA went under. From my understanding, Dixie Carter wasn't making great decisions, and a lot of people did not get paid, and they hadn't been getting paid for quite some time. So I don't think it had anything to do with them running the same day as WWE. I think it had more to do with how she was running that company. CM Punk versus Omega, I can see it coming. Hangman is on paternity leave. All right. Awesome. An elimination fatal 5-way was my initial idea. When you brought up AEW, I thought about that failed dunk again. Also, what's your opinion about Chris Jericho and Juventud Guerrera after almost 23 years, a real classic feud? Really? Honestly, I haven't watched AEW enough to give you my honest opinion about that. I don't have a lot of information about that feud at all. I didn't even know that was a feud. I honestly thought that Jericho was still feuding with MJF, and I thought that he was. I mean, just had that brutal match with Nick Gage. I didn't even know where that came from. It seemed like it came out of left field.
Well, so basically, what MJF did was it's like the 5 stages, and if Jericho can beat everything he's throwing at him, they'll basically get another match. So that's why he had that match with Nick Gage, and he won. And the next match is going to be with Juventud Guerrero, and if he beats him, and then they'll move on basically.
I see.
Yeah.
It's a lot of one-off matches in AEW. It's interesting. One thing that I don't like about Elimination Chamber, because the title rarely changes hands, is that I think is the mid-card titles. I think you meant mid-card titles are being used. It could be good and it needs to happen in like October. I meant mid-card. Titles could boost the pay-per-views more. My fast typing is not good. I got you. WWE is now working like WCW, focusing on big draws and money, while AEW is like Attitude Era, focusing on storytelling and in-ring work professionalism.
It's actually the complete opposite.
I disagree 100%.
WWE is working like WWE. AEW is working like WCW. If you look at back in the day, when a lot of the wrestlers left WWE, where did they go? They went to WCW.
And that's because they felt like they were stifled in WWE.
Yeah, and then what ended up happening is WCW started running with all of these older WWE people, and a lot of the other WCW people that were there kind of from the get-go kind of got overshadowed because they were using the fame from when they were on WWE to boost their stuff from WCW. And what ended up happening is the fans who were there initially for certain wrestlers now were starting to see Hulk Hogan and, you know, all these like WWE people. They started to lose interest because they weren't watching they weren't watching WCW. They didn't want to watch WCW to see that. They wanted to see that they just could have stuck and watched with WWE. The thing with it is that, yes, it's about big draws and money. Money keeps your corporation going. Money keeps your business going. If there's fans that are willing to give you the money, then that's kind of the direction you want to head, but also giving some of your wrestlers some creative ideas and everything left and right. Again, the problem with Tony Khan is the fact that he has an innumerable amount of money and the fact that WCW was his favorite promotion. As you can tell, he is bringing in a lot of the older people. I would not be surprised if Ric Flair shows up in AEW within the next month or two. They just brought back Chavo Guerrero.
Yeah, which I didn't have a problem with that. Actually, I'm fine with Chavo being over there. I feel like they should have started with Chavo when Andrade got there.
Yeah.
Instead of putting him with Vicky. I just didn't like that, but that's just me personally. To go back to this comment, like, the reason why I disagree more specifically, to piggyback off what Janae is saying, is because AEW isn't necessarily focusing on storytelling. If that was the case, it'd be easier to follow what's happening because they bounce around a lot. You'll have a story happening between Jericho and MJF, and then they'll leave that story for like 2-3 weeks, and then they'll come back to it right before they have a pay-per-view or something. Same thing with Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega. Page and Omega haven't been in each other's presence in quite some time. Matter of fact, the last time they wrestled each other, if I recall, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, was during that tournament that they had to determine the number one contender for that belt. When Omega beat him, that was it. They haven't had a story since then. And then they moved into this this match between them earlier, and it was, what was it? It was the Dark Order and Omega versus the Elite at the last pay-per-view, and he lost. He lost with the Dark Order, and that took him out of title contendency. He no longer can challenge for the title. There has to be some balance here. And when you're talking about storytelling, the storytelling has to be consistent. Now, I'm not saying that everything has to be all the way up until the next pay-per-view, because their pay-per-views are few and far between. They only have 4 to 5 major pay-per-views a year. The other ones are smaller pay-per-views that they usually air during the week. So when you factor in all of that stuff, you got Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen that happens on a Wednesday. They have time to tell these stories for a month or two and then move into Fyter Fest and have them finish out the story there. But that's not usually what happens. They will break that story up, and by the time they go back to it, you've either forgotten that they had this storyline, or the storyline they have with someone else is working out so well, you expect them to just move on, and they don't. They bounce back and forth between it. So I won't say that they're focusing on storyline. I think they're focusing on what brings them in views. The more people they bring in, like Malachi Black and Miro, and the more people they bring in, like maybe if they get Bray Wyatt, and if they bring in Ric Flair, that's going to boost views for the time being. Longevity is what they need to be focusing on. That's the difference between AEW and WWE. AEW is focusing on what's hot right now. WWE is trying to build for long term, and that's why they're on two different playing fields.
That's the thing, and the thing too is I shouldn't have to watch Dynamite, Elevation, Dark, and Behind the Elite to get a full picture of one of one storyline. I'm not saying cram all of it in Dynamite, because the thing is, for me, I don't mind like you having a storyline on one Wednesday and the next week you do something else and you kind of bring it back following week. But when it's like you're on watching Dynamite and they're talking about something that progresses a storyline, you're like, that wasn't on last week, and then it's because it was on Behind the Elite, or it was on like Elevation and like a 2-minute video. It's like,
and that's another problem. Your storylines expand out to other shows that most people don't watch.
Exactly. When you look at Dark, not the Dark that just happened, but the Dark like a week ago. As of right now, they're sitting at under 500,000 views. So if you put something that's substantial, a storyline that's going to be on Dynamite, and you put a progression on a show that has less than 500,000 views, that's more than half of your people that didn't see that. And that's even if those are the same, because the thing about it too is when you watch YouTube, and let's say you watch to a certain extent, it counts as a view. Let's say you don't finish it, and then you come back to it and finish the rest of it, that'll count as 2 views. So this could actually be multiple people watching it during separate times when they have the free time. You need to put your storylines on Dynamite so everybody can understand. And because I get what they're trying to do, they're trying to get everybody to watch all of their stuff, but not everybody has time to do that, and not everybody wants to watch, a 2-hour Dynamite where you have a bunch of, I don't mean this in a bad way, a bunch of like no-name wrestlers getting squashed against a couple of people that you've seen on Dynamite, and have to sit there and see if there's going to be progression in there. Not a lot of people want to do that.
I agree. Now, as far as their in-ring work professionalism, it's improved from where it was, but it's not as good as it could be. I think sometimes they're a little sloppy, and as is WWE, but sometimes AEW is blatantly sloppy on live television. They got to tighten up. Simple as that. Let me move on. That's why I feel like New Japan will never die, because they build all their stars and they create stars, but that's just my opinion. I believe New Japan is very good at what they do. I think that their brand of wrestling is for a certain niche audience as well. I'm not exactly a big fan of New Japan, but I respect what it does, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
For the sake of Sasha, they postponed the push of Liv Morgan.
Absolutely. No, they didn't.
That's not true.
That's not true.
It's not true at all. I don't understand. That's a stupid ass comment. I'm going to tell you straight up, that was dumb.
Here's the thing. When Sasha became champion, because that was the big feud with her and Bayley, she needed to get the title off of Bayley. Sasha, after WrestleMania, they knew this before WrestleMania. That's one of the reasons why they dropped the belt to Bianca. Also because she deserves the belt. She's the hottest thing coming in. Those are the 2 reasons. Sasha had prior obligations for things outside of WWE that started after WrestleMania. She could not hold that belt and do those prior obligations. The same way she was recording The Mandalorian, she was gone for those 2 months. She had multiple prior obligations for filming and other things outside of WWE. So they dropped it to Bianca because she was the right fit for that title, and she deserved it. They didn't postpone Liv because they already knew the timeline for Sasha. They knew when Sasha was coming back. So they didn't postpone anything. They already had that in the ducks. If they were trying to push Liv Morgan, she would have won Money in the Bank, not Nikki Cross.
Hello.
They weren't postponing anything. Now, there might be a few with Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega coming up. They might be doing that, but there was no postponing of Liv Morgan whatsoever, which kind of goes into my theory, if you want to hear it, since we're on this subject.
Yeah, I'm
That
gonna
is,
clear these comments and then you can come in with your theory.
which is 100% probably wrong.
You always say this. Since Ric Flair's released, it would be good if he came back AEW on Turner Network as Godfather of Pinnacle or a manager of MJF. Why does MJF need a manager?
MJF can be Ric Flair's manager. He's that good. And
Period.
I want him to go to AEW because I want to see everyone who was complaining about having all these legends on WWE. I want to see Ric Flair show up so I can purposely see Dee's face as he bursts a brain aneurysm as to why they're taking all these old WWE legends and putting them on AEW and see how he moves the goalposts about how now it's acceptable.
Oh, child. The shade, honey. I don't think that's right. She was talking about the first comment that the Rocky, I think you say his name. I'm a Liv Morgan stan, but that is not true at all. I was talking to the comment, not you guys. I figured he was talking about the comment. I got it. Okay, Janae, I cleared out all the comments. Now,
Okay.
what's your theory?
Okay, I'm just gonna say this for the millionth time. I'm 100% wrong.
She always
But
says that, and
here's the
usually
thing.
she be
So-
either right or partially right.
So you know how, like I said, well, me and you know what Sasha's prior obligations were. That's why she was gone after WrestleMania. We know what it is.
Mhm.
So my thought process was, so let's say, Sasha wins the title, and let's say if she didn't have these prior obligations, she probably would have had a longer, lengthy title run.
Yeah.
So let's say part of the thing, they're like, okay, well, if we're gonna let you go do these things, we're gonna have you drop the title to Bianca Belair. Now, if you look at it, Natalya, she had ankle surgery, so she's going to be out for a while, which kind of is going to put the tag team titles on the shelf for a bit. And when you look at SmackDown, you can essentially take Tegan and Shotzi. They're still a tag team, but you can kind of run like singles things for them. So my thought process: what if one of the stipulations would be that once Sasha gets back, that maybe at SummerSlam, Sasha gets the title back.
What?
Because in my mind, because the original thing was after Sasha lost the belt to Bianca, the plan was that was the end of it. They weren't going to go back. They weren't going to go back to Sasha because this was planned for a while. And then when the thing came up about her prior obligations and stuff like that, I was like, they could potentially give it back to Sasha so she can kind of finish the run she probably would have had if she didn't have these prior obligations. And they could probably run her with all these other girls like Mia Yim, Tegan, Shotzi. Because the thing is, Becky is supposed to probably coming back in October. And what's been going around is that she is going to go back. She's going to go on SmackDown just because her and Seth Rollins have a kid, and it'll be easier for them to both be there with the baby instead of one not being there, one being there with the baby while the other one's not there, and vice versa. So it looks like that maybe that she might be going to SmackDown in October, and I think that's when the draft is happening in October 8th, 9th, 11th, something like that around that time. So in my mind, I was like, what if the theory is they run that match back and Sasha gets the title back?
I hate that.
But again, it could also just be they don't have anybody and they're like, Sasha's just the best one. But I just feel like it could be a possibility that Sasha does get that title back.
I hate every bit of that. I hate it. And the reason why is because you didn't give Bianca a chance to get out the blocks.
Yeah.
You never gave her a chance. You moved out of her being up against Sasha, and her entire title run, she was up against Bayley.
Yeah, and didn't she go up against Carmella too? Or am I tripping?
Carmella don't fucking count. Yeah, she went up against Carmella, but
like in my mind, like a small percentage of me, I feel like that kind of makes sense where it's like, okay, you need to leave, so we need to put the title on someone. And Bianca's the best person we can put it on because she earned it. She's athletic. She has a bunch of fans behind her. So we could potentially temporarily put that title on her until
why go
you
through
get back.
all of the marketing and shit with Bianca if only you were going to take it off of her 5 months later?
I mean, haven't they done that before? They market someone and they take the title from them fairly
Not
quickly.
if they were gonna be temporary. Like, I put it this way: when Natalya became champ, she dropped that title shortly after she had it, but they didn't push Natalya like they pushed Bianca.
But how do you, when you look at Bianca as and then you, as your WWE, even if it's temporarily, how do you not just be like, well, she's just a temporary person. We'll just throw the title. Like you would, I would still push her even if it was temporary because it's Bianca Belair.
I'm
That's what
not.
you want. I
I'm
would
not
still
gonna
push
do
her.
all of that work to build her up, only for her to drop it to Bianca. I mean, for Bianca to drop it to Sasha again. I don't like it. It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I don't
But I'm
like it. I feel like, yes, it makes sense. It makes sense 100%. But if I'm not saying Bianca shouldn't be marketed at all. I just want you to understand that that's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying what you're saying is like a total is not true, because it is. It sounds plausible. The problem I have with that is it's like you use Bianca to just bolster the damn title for a little while. Like, yeah, Bianca's good. We'll just keep her title on her for a little bit. And we know Sasha's coming back, so we're gonna move into back to Sasha Banks. Like,
yeah,
to
like
me,
that doesn't sound right? But if I'm thinking like WWE, I wouldn't push that past WWE to do something like that.
I hate that. If that happens, I'm gonna be pissed.
Because my thing
Because
is
that
too,
means that the girls.
because the thing that gets me too is like I can also see them just doing that because they haven't built anyone. Like you would think they would be building Tony Storm up to something like that.
Well, she hasn't really. She just got back.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I would have been building Tony Storm when she wasn't doing anything on NXT. I would have moved her a lot earlier and would have been building her. So this all could just be a filler match. So everyone can see Sasha and Bianca too at one of the big 4 pay-per-views. Sasha doesn't retain, and then they could probably move on to someone else. But who are they going to move on to with?
I mean, they got options. It's not like they don't.
Yeah, they can
You
do
can have Bianca run with Zelina Vega for a little while if that's what you want to do, and then you can have her move out of that, move into Tony Storm. Shotzi and Tegan are there. You can make it work. It doesn't have to go that
But
route.
here's the kicker. You're gonna hate me for it.
I really don't.
There's also a rumor that
Naomi's there.
There's also a rumor that they are possibly looking into moving Bianca and the Street Profits back to Raw.
All right. I guess you can only have one black girl on the show at a time.
I don't know. We'll see. But that was just my theory. Like I said, it could be 100% wrong, and this is just a filler feud.
If they plan on having her drop the title to move her back, but see, that would mean Fox loves Bianca though, and the Street Profits.
They do. Fox also loves Becky Lynch, but they were willing to let her go to Raw because they wanted Becky Lynch, but somehow USA got her. But again, I could be 100% wrong. You know I am not 100% right. I'm usually about 20% right. Let's be real here.
Usually it's always a piece. It's either a piece or all. And it always starts out with the worst part. It's always the worst part that you're right about. And I hate it. I hate it so much. That really is very disappointing.
Yeah, and then there's also
like all of this marketing. Now, this is what you did. You done went and had the girl go all the way to Rolling Loud. She performed at Rolling Loud. She got the backing and the pull of getting new people there, right? New people were interested in Bianca. They were like, who is this? This girl looked like she a damn rapper. What is going on here? And they started trying to figure out where she was, and people was very interested in her. Contrary to what most people believe, they were very interested in Bianca. If anything, Bianca was the only of all of them. She was the most thing that people was trying to figure out where she was or what she was doing or what this was. And from what I heard, the people that was there, a lot of people were interested in what was happening on the stage at Rolling Loud.
All right, so
Bianca showed up at Lollapalooza, is up with Meg Thee Stallion. Meg Thee Stallion got millions of followers. She takes a picture with Meg, posts it, and it goes fucking viral. And we're not just talking about through wrestling community viral. It went viral, period, worldwide. Okay? Now, all this work you did to bolster this woman, to utilize the platform of the festivals, to push Bianca beyond compare. And you're telling me that the best combination you can think of is to drop the title to Sasha and send her to Monday Night Raw.
Okay, so let me ask you. Ooh, that sound like D. Okay, look, sis. All right, let me ask you this question. Okay, so let's say Bianca has the belt and she's been, built up. Everyone loves her, right? And let's say, who do you think is winning between Nikki and Charlotte for the belt?
Just Nikki and Charlotte, or between Rhea, Nikki, and Charlotte?
Well, yeah, the triple threat between them three.
I hope that it's Nikki Cross. I really do want Nikki Cross to win. But my mind is telling me that more than likely it's probably gonna be Charlotte.
Okay, so let's say we go with that, and Charlotte is the champ on Raw. Bianca drops the belt to Sasha. Let's say we do this draft, and she gets drafted to Raw. Who do you think is going to take the belt off of Charlotte? And there is a prior story there.
I mean, it's obvious that they're going to give that title to Bianca. I'm not upset that Bianca could go to Monday Night Raw. That I'm fine with. What I have a problem with is that even though Bianca was going up against Bayley for majority of her career, her wrestling career as champion, she did not get the opportunity to have a true title reign like what Bayley had, and even close to what Sasha had. Sasha went up against, well, basically her feud was like Sasha's title reign. Sasha went up against
Bayley and Carmella.
That was it. She didn't go up against anybody else. Nobody else challenged for that title. That was it. So it is the same thing, but I don't like it. I hate it.
Because unless if they do Survivor Series, I don't think they want to do Nikki versus Bianca. It could be Bianca versus Charlotte at Survivor Series,
which I don't have a problem with. But here's the thing: unless they plan on putting that title on Bianca immediately, which to me is like, oh, that's real fucked up. Like you.
Well, no, I mean like if Bianca beats Sasha at Survivor Series, not Survivor Series, I'm sorry, SummerSlam, and let's say Charlotte gets the title back, if whatever they can figure out, I mean, we could get Bianca versus Charlotte at Survivor Series, Raw versus SmackDown, which they could do because there's
if they plan on keeping the title on Bianca, sure. But if they're going your route, then it's going to be Charlotte versus Sasha at Survivor Series.
I mean, either way, if Sasha doesn't win, I'm kind of like, where do you go with her from there?
Nowhere. I mean,
exactly. But it's the same with Bianca.
She's not somebody who has to have the title all the time. And I'm sorry, but if you're talking about building up new people, she's used to push forward. You use her to build up other people.
I wouldn't mind. So that's my theory. What I would like to happen is I would like to see Bianca retain. And I wouldn't mind Sasha having a match with Mia Yim. Like just cold matches. Mia Yim, a cold match with...
They say Mia got quietly sent back to Raw.
I didn't hear that.
At least that's what I was told. It was like Mia Yim got quietly sent back to Raw. And I was like, well, why isn't that in the news? Like, I haven't seen it on the dirt sheets at all. I mean, not even a glimpse of it.
I haven't, like, when they talked about Mia Yim going to SmackDown, that was her in Slap Notes got sent to SmackDown.
Not Slap Notes.
That was everywhere. I haven't heard anything about Mia Yim going back to Raw, because my thought process was, and we had this on the podcast, that Keith Lee would get drafted to SmackDown and he would be the one to take that belt off of Roman.
I would love that, but I don't think that's happening.
Yeah.
At least not no time soon. But if
Yeah.
he gets sent to SmackDown, that'd be dope, though. I mean, I'd rather him be there than on Raw. I feel like on Raw he would get lost in the shuffle. And originally, that's where I wanted him to go. I
wanted him on SmackDown from the get-go.
Me too. That's why I was like, ooh, Keith Lee on SmackDown. That shit would knock. Plus, Roman's always said that he wanted to wrestle Keith Lee. He wanted to go up against Keith Lee after that Survivor Series they had when it was SmackDown versus NXT versus Raw. He was like,
Mia didn't get traded for Aaliyah. Aaliyah got traded for Mandy Rose. That's why Mandy Rose is on NXT now. Her and Aaliyah traded. It wasn't Mia. Mia had been sent to SmackDown long before then. When Aaliyah came up, because she on Raw or SmackDown?
Mia's on SmackDown.
No, Aaliyah.
Well, she hasn't been selected yet for a show, but she did.
She got traded for
She does
Mandy
the dark
Rose.
matches for both shows, but she did a couple of dark matches for SmackDown. So I guess if you want, you could put her on SmackDown.
Yeah. But Aaliyah got traded for Mandy Rose. That's why you see Mandy Rose and SmackDown starting to create a faction with Priscilla Kelly, and I forgot the other girl's name. But
Gigi
Dolan. Gigi Dolan. So there was no trade with me and Aaliyah. It was Aaliyah and Mandy Rose.
Cena should beat Roman, as he should get extension from his stay at WWE as his movies filming completed. Want to see Edge versus Cena for the sake of old times. I mean, that was like 4 thoughts in one long ass sentence. Okay, so Cena should beat Roman and he's getting an extension. My brain.
Cena should beat Roman as he gets the extension from his stay at WWE. The thing is, Cena has prior movie engagements, and there's only so many times you can push those back before the studios are like, you need to get your ass back here.
As far as I know, right now, he doesn't have any movies that he's supposed to film. Prior to this, he was doing the TV show for the character he has for
I believe he does have one thing coming up, and they were worried that he wasn't going to make SummerSlam because of that filming schedule, but he was able to get there. That's what I was reading.
No, I'm not talking about no, you're wrong. No, I mean, I was saying that they were able to work that out.
Yeah.
So he didn't miss the filming schedule, and and as long as he doesn't get injured, he'll be fine.
Yeah, so there'd be no point of him beating Roman because then he would need to be there all the time.
The point is not to beat Roman. The point is to build Roman. To build Roman as this unstoppable force that's just blowing through legends, blowing through the whole championship, like blowing through everybody. That's the point. It's really the match is really built to be like, okay, this is a nostalgia match. One, we've seen them, kiss at having the match before. They had one. Roman beat him then. Cena's back. He's like, look, I ain't had the WWE Universal Championship. I won it. Of course, he probably going to end up getting cost the match. Or Roman could actually beat him clean. You never know. So he basically be a transitional champ. She basically be a transitional champ. Transitional champions to me last 1 to 2 months. Bianca's been champion since WrestleMania, which is about 5 months she's been champion. So I would say no, she's not a transitional champion, but she ain't getting her just due, if that makes sense. Because when you look at her counterparts, even Drew McIntyre had more opponents than Bianca did. Drew McIntyre had more opponents than he did. Bobby had more opponents than she did, as did Roman Reigns. And even Asuka as champion had more opponents than she did. And then when the title moved to Rhea Ripley wrestled more people than Bianca did as champion.
For the title?
She went up against Charlotte, Asuka, and Nikki
Now we
didn't
have
get the title shot.
it was a Charlotte and Asuka.
It was Charlotte and Asuka. Was it anybody else?
No, because she beat Asuka at WrestleMania, and then they ran that match back again, and then Charlotte showed up, and then it's just been her and Charlotte, and then that's when Nikki Cross got thrown into the mix. Like she had a match with Nia Jax, but like we're going like title match, like
yeah, but that
storylines
was a title match.
Yeah, we're going like storyline for the title. It's just been Asuka, Charlotte, and now they introduced Nikki Cross.
She's got two opponents, the same amount, but Rhea ended up losing her belt, whereas Bianca had kept hers. Now Bianca's had 3 opponents. She's had Carmella twice. She's had Bailey, and then she had Sasha Banks.
And that's why I'm saying I don't see them putting past that, because look, they took it off of Rhea and gave it back to Charlotte, but then Charlotte dropped it to Nikki Cross though. That's what I was like.
I don't think they had any intention of Charlotte keeping it, to be honest.
No, I don't think it was either. I think it was, to bolster Nikki getting a pin, beating Charlotte, and like just getting the belt. But the thing is, Rhea had the belt for this. It was the same amount of time as Bianca Belair, maybe like a month shy, and she dropped it to Charlotte. Charlotte came back, got the tag titles, lost the tag titles, and then got the belt. And they did that to Rhea Ripley, and they gave Rhea Ripley a good promo package too.
They didn't promote Rhea like they promoted Bianca.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see them. I wouldn't put it past WWE to do that.
I hate it. I hate every minute of it. I don't like it. It's not fair, because I feel like the black girls always get the short end of the stick though, and I hate it. Cena should beat Roman as his stakes. You didn't put this in here already. You don't put it in here again. I'm starting to think you're special.
Can we just ignore those?
1 month gone after a loss to Roman Reigns. Rock showing up Roman on his 25th anniversary, teasing a feud that becomes reality during WrestleMania build-up. Okay. Mia got traded for Aaliyah because Keith is on Raw. They never really solidified where Aaliyah is on which show. She's had dark matches on both SmackDown and Raw, as has Xia Li. So they haven't really decided where they're going to put either of them. So I don't know.
If you look at the timeline, when Aaliyah beat up on NXT, that show on NXT, when Aaliyah beat up Robert Stonebrand, I was like, okay, she's moving up, because you can just tell. That's when Mandy started showing up. At that same time, Mia Yim has been sitting on SmackDown for months. Like when they had that SmackDown Retro episode, Mia Yim was supposed to debut there, but it got pushed. It got taken off to make time for something else. Mia has been sitting on SmackDown for the longest, well before Aaliyah got moved up. That's why the trade was for Aaliyah to go up and Mandy Rose to go back down to NXT. That's why Mandy is NXT now. That was the trade, not Mia Yim.
I think Mandy was sent down there to get Gigi and them prepared. So that I don't have a problem with. Actually.
Yeah.
And I still think that Dana's pregnant, because Dana's been gone this whole time. You haven't seen her. She hasn't been on TV. Last time you saw Dana, she got pushed.
Didn't she post something about a baby or something like that?
I thought she did, but it got removed mysteriously.
Because I could have swore she did something about saying about like she's like 13 weeks or like 8 weeks. And we was like, or like 4 weeks. We're like, and we said something like, "How do you what?" But like, yeah, she did post something.
Like, she was posting about her possibly being pregnant, and it was a baby emoji, a pregnant woman emoji on the post.
Yeah.
And everybody thought it was an old picture. And I was like, that was the picture I was sent. And I'm like, I went to her page and I went in her stories. It's not in her stories. And she hasn't posted on her social media at all. And I was just like, that's weird. Dana posts a picture every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and then what really was strange to me was they had Tamina push her when they were doing the storyline, and it looked like they was getting ready to move forward with that. But then they just dropped it.
And the thing is too is like with WWE, they're known for like dropping things, like just out like how they dropped Gulak and Angel Garza just out of nowhere. So like they could have just dropped it. But maybe she is pregnant, or
No, I think sis pregnant.
she got a little Dana on the way.
Because I mean, they could have sent both Dana and Mandy down there and
Mm-hmm.
still built the faction.
And they could have sent up Aaliyah and like one other. I honestly still think Strong Chin and Casey need to get moved up
I do
as
too.
a team.
Yep.
Don is so against it. I was like, they work well together as like.
I
if
think
you
they
were,
are great as a team.
Yeah, if you were to put the belt on them two and build a division and kind of like build a division around them, that would be a fire division because they're fast paced, they can wrestle, they're high flying. That would get the crowd. Like imagine Casey Caden, Strong Chin versus Tegan and Knox on
Not
SmackDown.
Strong Chin.
On SmackDown, that would be a good match.
Yeah, but then like they gotta keep working towards building up the women's division and having more women as a tag team wrestling. You're introducing them, and I think that's what they're doing with Gigi Dolan and the other girl, JC Jaden. I think that's how you say her name. That's what they're doing with them, and they should be trying to build up the division because if you're gonna have belts, you need to have a way for them to compete.
Mm-hmm.
It has to work that way. But oh God, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna be mad if Bianca lose that title to Sasha. I'm just gonna be pissed.
Look, I'm 100% wrong. Don't worry about it.
And see, just like that, I know that it's probably gonna happen, and I'm just gonna prepare myself.
I'm telling you, I'm 100% wrong. If Sasha wins the belt back at SummerSlam, I will buy you a shirt of your choosing from the WWE shop. That's how confident I know it's not going to happen.
Well, we all know if you're not blind or one of the 4 horsewomen, your title reign ain't gonna be all that. I don't know.
That's not true.
That's not true because Ronda had a decent title reign when she was there, and then Nikki Bella ain't blind, and she not one of the 4 horsewomen, and that bitch had the title the longest.
Asuka was one of the 4 horsewomen,
and her title reign wasn't bad. It just didn't get the shine that it needed, and she wrestled everybody.
Nikki Cross is not a 4 horsewoman. I think her title reign so far is going pretty good.
Who are you talking about?
Nikki Cross?
Yeah, Nikki's got a decent. If they keep going, Nikki's title reign will be great. But she got to go up against more than just Charlotte and Rhea Ripley.
But then you also have to look at the women on the roster and who they have, and you have to think, who can we put the belt on? And if you look at some of the girls that they have, would you put it on Dana? Would you put it on Peyton? Would you put it on Billy? Like I would have put it on Ruby. I would have I definitely would have put it on Ruby Rose because she would have.
I would have put it on Billy Kay just to shake some shit up. I would have fucked everybody up and put it right on Billy.
And have her walk around with the belt and her resume.
Like, I've got the belt and my resume. Like, girl, that's funny. I'd have put the belt on her just to piss people off. I damn sure would have. And
I mean, they did that with Nikki Cross, and it worked. They did it with Nikki Cross, and everyone was mad and upset. But people are loving it. They love it. She's for the kids.
I like Nikki, and I don't have a problem with her character. I thought about it after she debuted. I'm like, this bitch finna get over with this shit.
I'm happy that she went back to her old moveset because that crossbody Superman thing I wasn't feeling.
She keep doing it. I need her to find another move.
Well, she went back to her, yeah.
And it was like, and I know she hit that crossbody at least 3 or 4 times. Charlotte countered it every time she hit that shit. I was
I'm still waiting for Charlotte to actually land. Like when she goes to do her flip and it's gonna be to the inside of the ring, I was like, she ain't gonna land and they gonna kick her because for some reason she can't land it flat. I don't know what if she's scared,
Yeah.
but on the outside she's fine. The minute she goes out, I was like, oh, you about to get a knee or a boot to the face because you cannot land it.
Nia and Tamina and Naomi could build up the female bloodline, but it will never happen. Well, Tamina and Natalia are SmackDown wrestlers. Technically. I don't mind Naomi being in the bloodline at all. And that's another reason why I really, really detest what Janae was saying. Because I was hoping that with Naomi being on SmackDown, that they would go to that. And I was like, that's what everybody is expecting to see. No shade to Sasha, but like they could have waited. They could have went to Elimination Chamber with Sasha. They could have went to Clash of Champions with Sasha. She did not have to be on the bill for SummerSlam. That's just me personally. They could have went with Naomi and they could have built it right. When Bianca was at Rolling Loud, since Naomi had debuted, she had already been sent to SmackDown. They could have had her attack her there. And make
See, I wouldn't mind a female bloodline. I would think they would need more females unless somehow, let's say, since Natalia is injured, they can have Naomi be like step in as her tag team partner for the time being, and maybe go over to Raw. And since Shayna and Nia are feuding, maybe like since Tamina and Naomi are family, they can like jump in for Nia and like help her and kind of solidify it that way. But I feel like they're going to be on one brand. You're going to need a lot more females because you're going to have 3 of them and have like 4 of the girls.
Right. But I wanted Naomi versus Bianca. That's what I wanted.
You might get it. I'm telling you. What shirt you want?
Adam Cole should go to SmackDown, align with Michael Cole, and disrespect Pat. And Pat seeking revenge. Want to see the double face turn face Pat versus heel Adam Cole, just like Brett versus Austin of old times. I don't even know.
Marlon, is that you? Is that you, Marlon?
First of all, the reason why that wouldn't work is because even though Pat is beyond capable of wrestling. I don't think that should be the way that Adam Cole should be introduced to the main stage universe, okay? Although people have seen Adam Cole, they recognize him on the main roster, yada, yada. He needs to be introduced the same way that all the other superstars have been introduced. It needs to be through another wrestler. It doesn't need to be through Cole, and I don't think Cole wants to do that shit anymore. Michael Cole likes sitting at his desk and talking and then going home.
I'd rather see Bayley versus Michael Cole.
I think that'd be funny, but
that'd be so fire.
I don't want to see Michael Cole get beat up by Bayley.
I do.
You're horrible. You're a horrible human being.
That would be fire. Where it's like Bayley comes out, she's been gone. Bayley comes out she's been gone for a while, and Michael Cole's just not happy, and it is set up like a match on SmackDown.
He gets a beat down.
Wouldn't even like it'd just be funny. Because you think about it, they can do it. They did it with Sasha and Reginald.
Yeah, they did.
So they could potentially do it. It'd just be like a fun match. No like crazy serious storyline with it. Just a one-off fun match. And then after Bayley wins, Bayley comes out ringside to do guest commentary just to annoy him until they find her something to do.
I mean, it's cute. I ain't gonna lie. I would laugh. I would laugh.
Can you imagine Michael Cole coming out with the wrestling suit and the headgear?
Oh my god! Grab 2 of them, Tay. I would laugh. It'd be funny, but I feel bad for Michael Cole. He don't deserve to get beat up like that.
Yeah, you do.
No, he does not.
Yeah, you do.
Give it to me. I love Sasha, but she doesn't need the title. I'm with Tiff. Why the hell would they build up Bianca just to have her drop it to Sasha? And she hasn't even really had the chance to submit her reign. No, you're going to stand here and drink some of it and give it back.
Oh, I mean, I agree. Like, I wouldn't give it to Sasha. But another thing I was looking at is when I was watching, because I went back and watched the tag match. Who came out very last?
I don't remember because I didn't watch it.
It was Sasha.
Sasha
So
came out last.
when they came back from the commercial, Zelina and Carmelo's in the ring. Bianca came out, then Sasha came out, and normally the champ is the one that comes out last. And I was like, that's odd. I was like, because me personally, I would have Bianca come out last because she is the SmackDown Women's Champion. I don't care. Sasha's a 20-time belt holder. She's main evented pay-per-views, this and that. If you're the one holding the belt, you come out last because you're the champ. And I was like, why are they having Sasha come out?
I used to put a lot of weight into that too.
I just don't like it.
But I kind of realized that, I don't know, sometimes it just don't mean anything. I think it was more along the lines of Sasha hadn't been there in a live crowd, and they had the live crowd, so they wanted to give her an opportunity to shine. And that's pretty much the way I took it, because I didn't even know that happened. So thinking about it now, I'm like, it can't be.
Oh, you didn't see the beatdown, did you?
No, that got sent to me from YouTube. Somebody sent it to me on YouTube, and I followed WWE on YouTube, and the videos popped up on my subscription. So I saw her betray Bianca. If they're gonna do this, then I need for Bianca to go full on hood rat. She gonna have to whoop her ass.
I ain't gonna lie. When Sasha was putting her in the bank statement, the way she was selling it and her facial expressions, I was like, damn, that's good. Like, she was selling it. Like, it looked like she was about to cry, like she was struggling to get out of it. I was like, all right, Bianca, I see you.
She didn't whoop her ass. She better whoop her ass. Lacey was not pregnant. She could be champ. Lacey would have been champion.
Yeah, she was supposed to be champion.
Was supposed to go that Lacey was supposed to beat Asuka for that title. When she asked Asuka for that match, she was supposed to be her. She was going to be champion. Charlotte was supposed to be a face going into Mania, not a heel. Okay? So Charlotte was going to be champion after Mania. Ric Flair was still supposed to be a part of the whole situation. It's still supposed to go with the story. But Charlotte was supposed to be a face and win the belt at Mania and solidify her title reign there. But this whole COVID shit happened. And then on top of that, Lacey got pregnant. So Lacey getting pregnant derailed all of that. And then they made a major mistake. When they had Ric Flair and Charlotte going back and forth, where they messed up at is when Charlotte is trying to tell her father to go home. It looked like she was a heel yelling at her dad. It didn't look like her dad had cost her a match. Her father didn't play it right. That's why it looked bad.
And the thing about it,
he was supposed to be like slowly but surely transitioning to Lacey Evans and helping her out. And it was oddly done. It wasn't done right. And it made everything look ass backwards, if that makes sense. Because nobody knew who to root for, because you wanted to root for Charlotte for sure, because everybody thought Lacey Evans was fucking her father. If you're going to go by the storyline, it looked like Lacey was being flirtatious with her dad, okay? Then it come out that the girl pregnant. All right, boom, she pregnant. Ric Flair in the back like, I'm not the baby father. Bitch, we know. You got fucking dried up spermicide. You're obviously not the dad, okay?
But it wasn't only the COVID thing, but it was also when they do their thing, the doctor that was working there said that Charlotte was pregnant when she actually wasn't pregnant. And they were just like, because the doctor's like, oh, you're pregnant. And then Andrade and Charlotte were like, well, we can go to the store and get pregnancy tests, and it shows that I'm not pregnant. And they're like, nope, you're pregnant. And that's another reason why she got removed from WrestleMania, because of the COVID and that false pregnancy test.
Yeah, and then they didn't bring her back.
No, so that's when they brought in Rhea
Ripley. That's why Ripley got moved up so quickly, and that's why Asuka dropped the title so fast. The plan was for Lacey to be champion. Asuka was supposed to be out of title contingency completely, and they were supposed to move forward with Charlotte and Lacey, which to me would have been a better story leading into WrestleMania. So a lot of people hated the storyline with Ric Flair and Lacey Evans, but in the grand scheme of things and how it actually worked out, I would have preferred that going into Mania than what we got.
Because I think what's gonna happen was Charlotte would have got the belt at WrestleMania, and then I think Rhea would have debuted it, and I think Rhea would have took the title off of Charlotte after
Yes.
that. So
Yeah,
they
but
all went to plan. Rhea would have just been going into her championship run, probably
yeah, it
around
wouldn't
this
have
time.
been so long. And I don't think, and then too, on top of that, maybe Rhea wouldn't have lost as much momentum wrestling with Asuka, because her and Asuka just don't mesh well.
They don't. I don't understand what it was, because usually you can put Asuka in a match, because like there's certain wrestlers you can put in a match and they will pull something out of you. They'll make it like a good okay match or whatever. But and Asuka's one of those people you can put her in a match with anyone, and it's a good match. But for some reason, her and Rhea,
They don't
just
work.
they weren't meshing well at all.
No.
And it's weird because Rhea did good with Io Shirai.
Very well.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I don't know what it was.
Going on here? And it was a little better. It got a little better at Mania, but it wasn't good. And I was just like, what is happening? And I couldn't figure it out.
It wasn't good for me at Mania, and then when they reran that match on Raw the next day,
it wasn't good then either.
It wasn't good. Like the last match they had, that's for me. It was like, okay, they've gotten better just because they've been wrestling each other, but it still wasn't good. No. It was like they weren't catching each other. There was no communication,
and it looked like Asuka was trying, but I don't know. It looked like Rhea just wasn't all the way there. Maybe it was she wasn't really, prepared. Because I know after she started dealing with Charlotte, it was like her confidence came back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was trying to tell people, like, the reason why Rhea Ripley and Charlotte are wrestling each other is more specifically because Charlotte is the one to bring out the best in Rhea Ripley. And they need Charlotte to help Rhea transition over to the main roster. And right now, out of all of the people on the roster, she is the best person to do it. She's got the best personality, persona-wise, to make Rhea Ripley be the best anti-hero she could possibly be. That works in her favor. So I understand it, but I think that time that Rhea Ripley got there, they were still in the Thunderdome. They didn't have any fans, and Rhea was having a hard time. It just seemed like she was, because even when she wrestled Cross, it wasn't a good match for her with Cross either.
And Cross usually can pull out some good matches too.
Right. So it just seemed like to me like they was having an issue. And more specifically, Rhea was having a confidence issue. And that's probably why things were not great with her. Hopefully that has changed. And maybe Asuka, if they ever cross paths again, things will be different.
Honestly, I'd say move Asuka to SmackDown.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. If Asuka on SmackDown, move Bayley over to Raw.
Yeah, Bayley should go to Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would move Sasha to Raw. Honestly, I'd send Sasha's ass over there. If FTR or Revival does not get released due to budget cuts, I would get Lacey Evans to manage them. The FTR does not.
Do you watch WWE? FTR.
No, do you watch AEW? FTR is on AEW.
They never got released due to budget cuts. They requested their release. And they were granted their release.
They didn't want to be in WWE anymore because they felt like they were stifled creatively. They didn't have enough creative control. They wanted complete creative control over their characters. WWE said no, so they decided not to re-sign the contract, and they were let go. They were released.
Yeah, and the thing about it too is like they also wanted the tag team division in WWE to be treated better.
And they managed them. That would have been my great Southern. Oh, you mean like if they were there? If they didn't get released? Well, honestly,
the whole budget cuts thing just started.
I don't think I would have done that either. I would have had, first of all, Lacey Evans wouldn't have been up there. I wouldn't have drafted Lacey Evans, or she wouldn't have been brought. I like to call them the Sinister Six because most of them are not in WWE anymore, except for Otis and Lacey. Everybody else, and Otis and Lacey. Yeah, Otis and Lacey, the only two that's left for that six that was brought up. Lars Sullivan's not there anymore. Tucker isn't there anymore. Who else was brought up in that six pack? Somebody. I can't remember. But she shouldn't have been brought up so fast. Lacey should have stayed in NXT. She should have been there with Bianca, with Raquel, and when Rhea got there, she should have still been there. And the reason why I say Lacey Evans should have stayed there is because she could have gotten much better experience in NXT. She would have been able to hone her skill in the ring, and she wouldn't have been on the roster floundering against Charlotte the way that she did. Everybody expected that match between her and Charlotte to be great, and it wasn't. It was a bad match, and it was mainly because of Lacey, because she was being lazy in the match. And you can't do that. And especially when you're talking about trust and them wrestling each other, you could hurt somebody doing that.
Well, her stuff was with Becky. I was so annoyed. Because all she did, she just walked down there. And then you put him in this feud for like 3 months.
It was a long feud. It was
like she got better when she started working with Natalya, because before that, I remember I was watching a match between her and Bayley. And when Bayley went to go do her Bayley to belly, you're supposed to help Bayley because you need to jump so Bayley can, roll you, like swing you over to slam you. She was like a stiff board and Bayley couldn't get her over, so it just looked really awkward.
It's not ideal now. She wasn't doing great. But I mean, she did work with Natalya, and anybody who works with Natalya automatically is usually improving. You know what I'm saying? So Lacey Evans is good. She's got potential to be amazing. The problem is because her character work is so great, people overlook her wrestling. And it's not as bad as, most people's wrestling is, but Lacey Evans could be better. And that's the point. She could be great. And instead of being mediocre and an amazing character, you should strive to be great. That should be your goal. And usually Lacey Evans, she shoots for the stars for everything she does. And I expect a lot out of her because she has great potential. So as long as Lacey continues to present herself in this character, which is, she has a great character, face or heel. It's an amazing character. As long as she does that, I feel as though if she beefs up her wrestling skill, after she has her child and she has some time to spend some time with her baby, when she comes back, I would book her the way Nicole says. She would come back. I would have her come back around the 4th of July, Labor Day, Memorial, somewhere around that time. She would be a face for a long time. Okay? And I would have her be like, if they were going to introduce a new belt, like a women's United States Championship belt, she'd be the first bitch I put it on. First.
Ooh, that just gave me an idea.
She'd be the first one.
So Natalya just had surgery. So you could put the tag titles on the shelf and kind of just like leave them there until you can actually build a division, but introduce a women's middle card belt. Because I think they should have had that and no tag belts. That's just
I really do think I thought it was going to introduce that, but they didn't. So Reginald is the real deal. People underestimate him, but I've become a fan of him. I'm not a fan of Reginald. Reginald is literally the equivalent of an acrobat, and an acrobat is all well and dandy, but that's not a wrestler. And I don't watch wrestling to watch acrobats.
If he can get his wrestling down, or actually, like, he'd be fine. But all he does is, like, fling his body around the ring.
After WWE contract expired, it's time for AJ Styles to go to AEW and have great matches and retire in club territory in front of his club family and old friends like Christopher Daniels, Christian, and Sting.
Ooh, so Kalila said, well, if Lacey returns, how would y'all book her?
Well, just like I said,
yeah.
I literally would have her come back as a face, and she would wrestle And if as long as nobody just got the title, as long as it's like, if it was somebody like Vega that was champion when she came back, oh hell yeah, she'd be a face, and she would come back and take that belt off of her 100%. And I would have her. It would be around the most patriotic time that she would come back, and that's how I would build her. Because I thought when Nicole mentioned it before, I was like, that's hella fucking smart, because Lacey Evans is the ultimate face if you're going to go that route. John Cena knows how to play up the Marine thing, but he's not a Marine. Lacey is a Marine, as is Montez Ford. So I would utilize that 100%. She'd be booked, and she'd be right there with the with her whole gimmick and everything. She could still be the Southern Belle. She could still be the Marine and the mom and everything, and just uphold all of that shit. But she would be booked heavily strong as a face. No hesitation. That's how I would book her. She would beat whoever would be champion at that time that she would come back. See, I would plan it out by who's champion at the time. So if it's a heel champion at the time, I would definitely have her come back and take the title off of them 100%. To me, it just would work. EC3 was probably in that 6-pack. He was one of the 6. It was EC3, Tucker and Otis, Lars Sullivan, Lacey Evans, and there was another person, and I can't remember their name.
Someone said Nikki was brought up with them too.
Was it Nikki who was in the 6? I think it was Nikki in the 6. So the only people left for the Sinister 6 are Cross, Evans, and Otis. They're the only ones left. Tucker, EC3, and Lars Sullivan are gone. They did not make it.
Mm-hmm.
Quite frankly, I don't think Tucker gonna make it either, but Vince is in love with him for whatever reason. So Baby Boss gets now. Toni Storm could be the next female Bret Hart. She is a great technician. She has the Bret charisma. Why can't she just be Toni Storm?
Yeah, let her just be Toni Storm.
Why does she have to be the next Bret Hart? Why can't she just be the next Toni Storm? I mean, if you think that she's just as good as Bret Hart or compared to Bret Hart, that's fine. But I don't understand why she has to be the next Bret Hart. Why can't she just be the next Toni Storm? I'm pretty sure no one compares Charlotte in that capacity. No one's like, Charlotte's the next Ric Flair. Although that's what they want. And, that's not what most people think of when they think of Charlotte Flair. But it's interesting that you compare her in that way. Remember, she faced Becky on SmackDown. Who faced Becky on SmackDown? Nikki? There's a flight of ideas, and your girl does not have a ticket to ride. You ignorant. You are ignorant, yo. I think y'all are hella sleepy. What time is it?
11:30.
34. It's 2:34 our time. It's 11 your time. It's 2:34 our time.
And I am off for the next 2 days. Well, 1, I guess.
We're supposed to film after NXT for the show.
What show?
For the podcast.
Yeah, my brain, like,
Because you
I'm
said you couldn't do
here.
it today because you had to go to the doctor's appointment.
Girl, let me tell you what happened. So I was like, I got this doctor's appointment. They wanted me to stay. I was like, no, I got a doctor's appointment at 9:30. I got to get home, blah, blah, blah. So I get home, and I usually, when I have my doctor's appointment, they give me the card, and I leave it on my table or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I get home, and I'm like putting, like, so I bring a little mini speaker because I play music while I'm working. And I set it down, and I look at the card. My doctor's appointment ain't till Wednesday.
Janae, are you serious?
It's not till August 4th, Wednesday at 9:30 a.m.
I swear to God. Are you
I like
telling
saw.
me we could have
I
filmed today?
I looked at it, and the first thing I said was, "Ooh,"
Why didn't you say anything?
because I went to bed. I was tired.
You're a horrible human being.
Like I saw it, I was like, and plus I like ripped a chunk of like skin from underneath my foot.
What?
Yeah, girl, just chunked it all the way out.
How the hell did you do that?
Because so we have hardwood floors in our house, and when I was walking, we have like there's a part of the hardwood floor that there's like nails under it. It's
Mhm.
the trim. You know, like you have trim that goes from hardwood, and then there's trim, and then it goes into like the carpet or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was loose. Then we have to get maintenance to come fix it. And when I was walking, I accidentally kicked it up, so when it rolled, it kind of rolled and chunked out a piece of my skin.
Oh my God.
So like I've been cleaning, but every time I go to work, since I'm on my feet, I have on compression socks because your feet start to hurt. So my feet starts to sweat. So every time I get back home, like I clean it and I let it air out. But after walking on my feet for so long, for 9 hours, it's like death.
Oh my God. Hey, Don.
Hey.
Evil Ono for the TNT Championship. It should come where it belongs. The Dark Order.
Anyways, hi Don, how's your day been?
What the hell is going on here?
My day was fantastic.
That's good to hear.
The kids went to school.
Yep.
Kids started school already?
Hell, motherfucker, yeah.
Damn.
Get the fuck
It's
out
just
the house.
August 3rd. Oh, shit.
Well, they got out in May over here.
Damn.
I think over here the kids don't go back till September 1st, I think. Because they don't get out till June, I believe.
My nephews don't go back to school until August. What is it? The 9th. That's next week.
Yeah.
That's crazy as hell.
Yep, send all of them to school. I don't feel like seeing their faces. Screw them kids.
It's so quiet in the house.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I wonder about y'all sometimes. I don't go back to September 22nd, I think. Oh, God. I'm so glad I ain't got to go back to school. I don't know what to do. I ain't got to do none of that shit. I don't have to do none of it.
I think I'm
In my ass right here.
Yeah, I don't go back to school till never.
I think I'll be going back.
I ain't going back.
Actually, no. I've been thinking about because Google has their certificate program. I've been thinking about taking it for like coding and like network systems.
Oh, hell no, I'm not doing that.
Because there's like a big want for like coding and network systems people, and like you start off at like $90,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can't do that.
I was thinking about maybe doing. I mean, that just requires you to sit in front of a computer all day.
I can sit in front of the computer all day, but if you asking me to learn coding, hell no. I tried it. Nope. No, I'm not doing that. You can't make me.
He said, "Not today."
Tears, you went to sleep. Lord
What?
have mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Tears.
Don was here earlier, then he just dropped out. They was
My
like, where did
friend.
Don go? I was like, probably got a phone call.
Yeah,
He
my
be
friend
back.
called me.
Yeah, I saw y'all had a chat without me, a Zoom chat.
Kenny asked for a Zoom chat and you were at work.
It's okay. Y'all just don't
She
care.
don't wanna hop on the
She
phone.
is. You see?
Y'all just don't care.
I be telling you, fuck that job, girl. Get on the phone.
Well, yeah. The thing is, the phone that I have some OnePlus. I have to get the special attachment to attach some headphones to it. But I'd rather just get like Bluetooth so I can have it Happened in 1 year. It was some dude at my job flipped off our store manager, and it was hilarious.
Lord have mercy.
My job is ghetto.
Yeah, that's just Walmart.
Ghetto. Like the other day, some dude was like, "Can I get 2 things from the lockup?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Can I get these condoms?" Sure. He's like, "Also, can I get a pregnancy test?" And that's like the combination that happens all the time. They get condoms and a pregnancy test at the same time.
What the fuck?
And then this one dude bought a prostitute and brought her into Walmart and like bought her like deodorant and shampoo and like a bikini and like some makeup, and the lady kept calling me baby, like, "Hey baby, can you tell me about this?" But the whole time she was scratching her crotch. And it was this like old white man buying her all this stuff, and she's just like trying to buy makeup with the bikini in her hand and toothpaste and deodorant, and she just scratching away. And I'm just sitting here, and my friend Liz, she's like behind, she's like in the aisle, and she's just like wide-eyed staring. And then we're all just like, "What is going on right now?" Just scratching, no care in the world.
Like the pharmacy's in the back, baby, and don't touch nothing.
Without a care in the world, just scratching away.
Don't touch
I was
nothing.
like,
your hands to yourself.
I was like, I want to be like, we have some
disinfectant.
I want to be like, we have some lice stuff in HBA. It's in aisle 19.
And don't go close because crabs jump. Fuck around to get a whole crab on your shit just by standing next to her. Mm-hmm. Especially if she's scratching like a damn puppy. That's nasty.
Oh man, it was
yes, bitch.
The stories, the stories that I could write from working at Walmart is the greatest.
I said, "You nasty ass bitch."
Like this one lady, I think I told this one lady, she was grocery shopping and her kids were getting on her nerves. So instead of just like leaving the cart, she started like dropping off stuff in random places. Like you find a bag of potatoes by the steaks. There was a jar of mayo like rolling around by the potato chip section.
Oh
like,
my God.
Like I was walking to the cash register and there was like a package of pork chops with the milk.
Just a package of pork chops, huh?
And like they didn't throw it in there. They like set it up nice and neatly so you can read the label and you know it's a package of pork chops and you can see the date and everything. They just like, we gonna make sure. And then someone put like that some kind of like tire degreaser with the donuts because they didn't want to no more. I found like a Plan B in like the dog food section, and they was like, you know what, I don't need this. I'm just gonna keep the baby, and just like left the Plan B there.
Not keep the baby.
It'd be fun. But yeah, my coworker.
You working
because like my coworker, his name is Reese, and he got into an argument with the manager of the like overnight like main manager Shannon, because normally I do candy and he does the candy and register, but lately they just been having me like hoeing around in different like departments and stuff. I'm like the Walmart hoe; they just put me wherever.
Walmart hoe.
And he got mad because he was like, Janae's the one of you who does candy, and they're like, well, Janae's our roamer because she's good at everything, so we can kind of put her everywhere, and you can do candy. And he was like, you bitch, and flipped her off and walked away.
Oh shit.
I was like, ooh, I know that's got to hurt, like personally. I know you mad. I was like, shit, I know you mad. I know you mad. But yeah,
that is a hot mess.
Walmart is a hot mess.
Crab stories. It's give me PTSD.
But I'm telling you, she was scratching. She was like scratching, like she was in there. Like she was in there. And she was like, "Thank you, baby."
I ain't got time for that.
She was like, "Thank you, baby," and I was like, "You're welcome." And then she looked at the guy. She's like, "Thank you so much for this," and he was like, "Oh, it's no problem. Do you need anything else?" And I was like, "Yeah, doctor, because you finna get lit up in the crotch area."
Today.
And I'm just sitting here like, you didn't buy her no clothes except for a bikini. I was like, a bikini, some deodorant, toothpaste, and makeup. And I was like, all right.
Damn, as long as she look good in this bikini, just wash your ass right quick. And you make sure your breath straight, brush your teeth. You can have the
Everybody doing
crabs.
your
You can have
job,
the
but you
crabs.
gotta do
Just
your
make sure your
job
teeth
clean.
clean and you got a little makeup on and your underarms don't stink. Do all that. The crabs we'll take care of later, but right now we need to take care of what I
Oh,
want.
look
That's straight.
presentable.
I was like, what is going on? And I was like, you know what, sir? You do you. Like, we ain't got a good selection of prostitutes up here, so you do
Not
what
a
you
good
gotta do.
thing. You know
Girl,
what?
ain't no good selection. You go down to 7th Street, you ain't got a good selection.
What the
It's
fuck?
either Tammy with the snaggletooth who eats powdered donuts, or you know what I'm saying, you get the other chick who walk around, you know what I'm saying, with like an empty can of Budweiser and a shopping cart.
Why is it empty?
I don't know. Like
What?
literally, if you go down 7th Street, you'd be like, oh, I see what's going on here. Like they ain't even got high heels. It'd be just like slip-ons, flip-flops, feet be dirty.
Well, I mean, earlier Janae submitted told everybody her theory. I hate her for it. I
I'm
really
completely wrong on my theory though, and I told you I will buy you whatever shirt you want if I'm right. That's how confident that I know that I'm wrong.
She thinks
Fuck
that
yeah.
Bianca's gonna drop her title to Sasha at SummerSlam, and that it could possibly lead to Bianca and the Street Profits being moved back to SmackDown.
Back to Raw.
But I'm wrong. I don't understand. I'm wrong.
I don't believe you. Like it's not wrong.
I
It
have been
makes sense
wrong.
because she said that Sasha coming back, the original plan was for them to have a one and done. That was it. They weren't supposed to go back to it. But now that Sasha, is done with all her obligations, so they think for right now she's finished. They are gonna let Sasha keep her title or get her title back and run it the way they were originally gonna run it from the beginning. Now, I don't like it because I feel like Bianca never really got the chance to get out the blocks. She was kind of attached to Bailey at the hip. And I just want Bianca to at least be able to get the feud with Naomi before she ends up dropping the title. But if the idea is to get Bianca to drop the title to send her to Raw, there's a potential with her being champion on Raw. So despite how much I hate this idea, I understand it. I don't like it though. I really don't.
Tirza, you have to believe me. Ask Dawn, because Tiff, she don't want to tell the truth. Ask Dawn. When I run by storylines and hypotheticals and stuff like that, Dawn, ain't I wrong like 90% of the time?
No.
Not 90. More like 65.
Thank you.
You ain't no help either.
Thank you, Don. Thank you.
Like
Don,
you
who
say
said?
the oddest shit and it work. Like when you
And it be
said
happening. And you know
Otis,
what?
you
It
said
don't be
Otis was
all
gonna
of her
win Money in
theory,
the
it
Bank
be
and he
pieces
did.
of it.
Say what?
You said Otis is gonna win Money in the Bank and he did.
That was the
Yep.
last time I was right, and that was a
That was
year
not the
ago.
last time. Then after
That was
that,
not. You're
Yes,
after
it
that you
was.
had said, what was that? But before that, you had said Brock was gonna pop up and Brock popped up.
Yep.
When did I say Brock was gonna pop up?
It was one of them damn matches, girl. Come on now.
I always say Brock.
Inhibited right now.
I
I
always say
hate
Brock
it.
is gonna pop,
I
but that was
hate
a.
every minute of it, but she said that Bianca could drop her title back to Sasha at SummerSlam. Sasha's gonna run with having the title probably up until Mania again.
I don't
And
know about Mania again. I wouldn't give it to her that long.
Who else are they gonna give it to? Bailey's not coming back until
Me, give it to me.
Bailey's not coming back until probably SummerSlam of next year.
Right.
So they can't run Bailey versus Sasha again. And unless Becky's gonna be there, which more than likely Becky will be, there still has to be a balance in the shows because you can't have Becky on the show and she not have an adversary either.
You can run Becky and Bianca too, though.
Yeah, but they're somebody's got to be the face and somebody's got to be the heel. And the way they've been running Bianca, Bianca's going to be the face. But they're going to boo Bianca and they're going to cheer Becky.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Becky's not getting booed. She can even come and attack Bianca and they cheer for that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it could just be a filler match just because it's one of the big 4 pay-per-views and Bianca could hold it. But I'm saying, as of right, the thought process is moving. Like, it's not saying they're going to do it, but there are thoughts of moving the Street Profits and Bianca back over to Raw, because if Charlotte gets the title from Nikki Cross, and let's say Charlotte holds it for that long, moving Bianca back over to Raw because they see how well she's doing on SmackDown and they need the help on Raw, putting the title on Bianca because there's like a small story there with her and Charlotte. That's the possibilities of things that are floating around. But
Charlotte have to have the title for that story to work?
No, they don't.
I feel like they can do that story without the title. If that was the case.
No, I don't.
Legitimately, if I were doing it and I wanted to go into Survivor Series and really build Survivor Series, long-term goal towards Clash of Champions is when Nikki Cross would lose that title to Charlotte Flair. Then they would go into Survivor Series with Charlotte versus Bianca at Survivor Series. It'll be champion versus champion. I would not drop that title to Sasha at all. I think it wouldn't be smart because you spent all that time building her up, all this shit you just did, all this work you just did. You could have did that with Sasha if you were going to fucking do that.
And I agree with you.
And then on top of that, Sasha was champion throughout the pandemic, like even tag team champion, and she was Raw Women's champion for a short amount of time. She was champion throughout the pandemic. She gained that title, the WWE Women's Championship for SmackDown. She got it on SmackDown, and she's
I totally agree with you. I'm just the theory I was throwing out. I agree with you. I don't think she should get the title. I think that should be a one and done, and then Sasha can start putting over other people like Mia Yim, having matches with Tegan and Shotzi and all the other girls that are coming up. Like, I think Dakota's on her way up. I think she might be going to Raw though.
I think Raquel's going to be brought up before Dakota. I think Dakota's getting that title from Raquel.
You think so?
Yeah. To me, it would not be smart to leave the title on Raquel. Raquel is not a marketable champion like that. She's not interesting to hold that title that long. Quite frankly, she should have dropped it to Mercedes or Storm when she went up against Mercedes. She should have dropped it against her, or she should have dropped it against Xia Li, because
I'd rather her. I really wanted Mercedes to win the title, but she's gonna be gone because Xia Li knocked her the fuck out.
Yeah, she's under concussion protocol. She's gonna be there for a minute. It wasn't intentional, so
no. When I saw that, I was like, "Ooh!" She did the whole stiff reaching thing, and I said, "Ooh, girl."
She was out. But I don't mind Bianca being champion into a Royal Rumble. That's fine. That's a good slot. That's a nice piece of time from Mania to Royal Rumble. That's cool.
And then at Royal Rumble, we can get Michael Cole and Bayley.
No, why do you keep it?
Tiff, don't act like you don't want to see Michael Cole and Bayley.
I do not want to see Michael Cole get beat up by Bayley.
Yes, you do.
No, I do not.
Look deep within yourself.
Look deep within
Look deep inside, and don't tell me you would not be laughing that whole time that match is happening. You would.
I hate you.
You would be laughing. You would be doing your commentary. Imagine Michael Cole pulling a Ricochet and pretending that he got hit with a chair and fainting in his little one piece with the headset.
You know what? I'm sick of you.
That'd be great.
Who the fuck is this? What is this? Don, what is this Spider-Man shit you sent in the group chat? They got two Spider-Mans out here getting it in. What the hell?
They are a cute couple, huh? They do make a cute couple.
Whoa.
What did...
Oh my.
Do I need to turn the sound down for this?
I don't know. There's a lot going on in this video, though. I will say. There's a lot. Oh, it's so much. So much. Tears says, speaking of Dakota, I came across a video of her and Shayna, and she was teaching her how to do her smoky eye, and it was the cutest thing. They make a cute couple. Outside of the K-Babe, Dakota and Shayna are real cool people. I've accepted the fact that I would love Cole against Bailey. You're horrible. You just.
Oh, are they reenacting? Remember the video from like 2008 where it was this dude dancing to a Keith Sweat, Nobody?
Okay.
Thank you, Leah. It's must-see TV.
They must have seen the sexy video. Whose song is this? Okay.
Damn, she took that slap like a G.
Armin and Trey. Who the fuck is Armin and Trey? Are these some YouTubers?
Yeah.
I feel like there's some YouTubers.
Yeah, they're YouTubers.
Yeah, I'm not listening to that. It's like, if you singing with auto-tune, you need to go about your business. Don over there hat.
Yeah, they're YouTubers, and I could have swore everyone thought one of them was gay, but now he got a baby on the way or something like that.
What?
I can't remember which one, but one of them, everyone thought one of them was gay, but he like got a baby or something on the way. They're like, "Oh, you ain't
You
gay?"
can be gay and still have a baby. It's a bunch of gay people with children.
Oh, I remember that video you sent me. I was like, "I'll be gay for $1 billion." Yeah, Trey.
The hell?
They do be cute though. Like when you see them like outside of wrestling, just in regular videos, it's like they be trying to act like they're not a couple, but they can't help but kind of act like they're a couple. And it's like, at this point, we know y'all a couple. Just be cute. Y'all just cute.
Damn, she smacked the dog shit out that lady.
You see that?
God.
And then when she smacked her back, that girl ate it.
She barely hit her.
Like stiff jaw and everything.
Oh, hell no. I'd have punched her ass dead ass. Like, your ass is out.
You can't do that.
I don't care. You're
It's
not
a
gonna
slap
slap me out
fight.
like that. That's a bitch slap shit.
It's a slap fest. You're supposed to slap.
Fuck that shit. That bitch slapped her so hard, she was in a whole new fight. She didn't even know who she was after that slap.
See, that's why you can't be in one of those, because you won't play fair.
I sure won't. You ain't finna give me no concussion over no slap, and then I just stand there. I will pick up a chair and knock you the fuck out. That's the end of the match.
Tirza, well, wait, never mind. You don't like AEW. I take that back. I was gonna ask her if she's gonna go to the AEW show in New York. But I realized she doesn't like AEW. Never mind.
Oh, she said Khalil said he think it was Trey. It was all over YouTube. It wasn't on my YouTube feed. I don't like Trey and Armin. I don't know who they are. Like them, Queen Naja, Chris, Clarence, Rat Shadrack, Meshat, and the Bill Go. I don't know nothing about that.
It ain't nothing
Don't
but
be
just
like
prank videos.
Trey and
I'm-
Armin, I think Queen Naja, or however you say it, are cousins, I think. Okay.
Wait, so what was the thing Nicole was talking about? The lady for like journalism. What was her deal?
From the tweet that we
Yeah.
sent out.
Yeah.
The tweet Nicole sent out was about how some of the journalists for the dirt sheets are like gatekeeping and stuff. So the lady said she was going to school for journalism and she's taking up some PR stuff. And she said to hit her up if we needed some help for stuff. So that's what Nicole's gonna do.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Tirza. Sometimes
She
I
said
say
Sunny
things.
Kiss is a restless, so hell no.
Do you know what's going on with Sunny Kiss?
He's
I
supposed
miss
to have a
him.
storyline with Joey Janela. The last time I saw pieces of it, it was on Britt Baker's talk show that she has. And I don't know if that airs on Dark or Dark Elevation. I don't know where it airs, but she had them on there and Joey Janela and him was supposed to be feuding. But I haven't heard or seen anything else about it since.
I would just like to send a formal apology to Tirza. I forgot.
Not a
Sometimes
formal.
I speak without thinking. So my first thought was like, oh, they're gonna be in New York. So I thought, and then I realized you don't like AEW. So I was like, of course, why would she go? Tirza has to. She wouldn't. Not saying like AEW is bad or anything. I'm just saying like like you would go see WWE because like Roman's there and like the Distinguished Twins are there. So like I figured you would go there before going to like AEW. So on my behalf and the future generations of my possible maybe kids that I adopt, maybe
Damn.
we would like to formally apologize for making that mistake.
So much.
Please don't future endeavor me.
She said he's not wrestling nearly as much as he should be. I haven't seen Sunny Kiss on AEW Dynamite in over a year.
And the bad thing about it is too, though, like for me, I feel like that would work for him because I don't know if WWE would be ready to like somehow make his character work in WWE. Like I don't think they would know how to like, girl, what is you typing, a novel?
I'm not typing anything. My hands aren't even on my keyboard. I'm not typing nothing.
Somebody clicking.
I don't know. Octavius, lay your butt down.
Ooh.
I hope we get to see Randy versus Cross Sunday. I'm sure they brought that up. Cross need to work with Randy to improve. No, AEW is bad. But I am going to SmackDown in September.
Why? Why are they going to all these states and not in California yet?
I don't know. They keep adding new cities every day, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
And it's like, why can't you come to where I'm at? I would gladly spend the $300 to go to a super show and sit front row. Gladly, but they playing games because they're cowards.
Oh, them strong words. Real strong. Oh my God.
I'm bitter.
They going to Florida. They're going to be in Tampa, Myers, and Orlando. So I see how they doing the shows. They go to one state and they'll do 2 to 3 shows in that state. If they can't do a actual show, they will do a super show and move on from there. So they're going to have one in August on the 13th. They're going to have Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then they're going to be coming back to the eastern side of the country and go North Carolina and South Carolina. And these are super shows. This isn't.
What's so
any of the
great about the
shows.
Carolinas that the WWE needs to go there over
I
California?
don't know, babe. I don't know. I'm
You know what?
sure.
I hope the next Super shows don't have Roman, don't have the Distinguished Twins,
Oh, you
don't
are
have Sasha, don't have Bianca Belair. I hope y'all get Otis, Baron Corbin, Commander Aziz, no Apollo.
Now, this is a Super SmackDown in New York City at Madison Square Garden. There is 2 other shows surrounding that, and one is in DC and one is in New York, and then Monday Night Raw will be in Boston. In September on the 17th, they're going to Knoxville, back to South Carolina for the live show. They're doing another live show in Augusta, one in Newcastle. Then they'll be overseas. So they're going. See, I told y'all September 19th was September 19th was when they were supposed to be in Atlanta, but they scheduled that live show in Newcastle, UK. So they have to go over there. So they have 2 live shows. One is in Newcastle, the other one is in London. And that's the 19th and the 20th. And then they're supposed to be back in Raleigh, North Carolina, that same day. They're supposed to have a Monday Night Raw in Raleigh, North Carolina, but I don't think that's going to be in North Carolina.
You know what? I hope anyone that goes to these shows, I hope it's a super glitch going on.
There's no way they're going to be able to fly back to North Carolina and then go back overseas to Cardiff and make it in time.
I don't think front row will be 300, Janae, because New York City, California is a major city, especially at the Staples. Well, no, so if they're going to the Staples Center, so I wouldn't be going to a live SmackDown taping. I would want to go to the Super Show. So usually their live shows are a lot cheaper. And then there's a huge arena 30 minutes from my house in Ontario, California. And usually for front row, those tickets are about $300. Now, if I wanted to go see a SmackDown taping and sit front row, that's going to cost me about $500 or $600.
Well,
Yeah, like if
New
they
York,
were,
California is a major city, especially I paid over 600. Jesus, that's rent, bitch. Jesus Christ.
and you also realize Madison Square Garden, that's like a pretty famous like arena. But yeah, if they were doing a SmackDown at Staples Center, honestly, I wouldn't go because that's just too far for me. So if they were to come to Ontario, California, which, like I said, they have an arena that's like 30 minutes away, those tickets would be cheaper. Especially since I just want to go to a Super Show, just because the house shows are more fun than like a taping. They're allowed to it's more they interact more with the crowd. I'd rather go to a house show. So yeah, front seat.
I
So I
don't
can
know for sure
I want to see Roman in high definition.
You mean in person?
No, high definition. That is in person. High definition. I want to see that man's pores.
Wow, you can see that now on the 4K camera.
I ain't got a 4K TV.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
You know what? I hope your belt falls off the wall and breaks. How about that?
The ugliness.
Oh, you're on a SmackDown taping.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the deal. Maybe a little bit TMI. I'm gonna mail you a clean pair of draws, Susan. I want you to throw them at Roman when you see him.
What?
I'm gonna put my name.
Not. Absolutely, don't do it.
I'm gonna put my name on like the little band part and stuff like that. You just gotta let me know what day it is so I can, because I'm gonna send him like how you get the draws have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on it. I want to send the correct day to him. I don't want to send like Monday draws and it'd be like a Friday. So I want to send like a pair of like Friday like butterfly draws, and I'm gonna write my name on it. And you just throw them at him when the security's not looking, because I don't want you to get kicked out.
Draws?
I don't want you to get kicked out because that'd be on me. You know what I'm saying? Love ya.
You don't throw butterfly draws at a grown ass man. What the hell is wrong with you?
What? I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Don't nobody want no butterfly draws.
If Nicole can tell me to tell Finn Balor to let me suck his dick, I can throw some butterfly draws.
Oh my God. If they go back to MSG in December like they usually do, I'll be there again because it's a house show and I always go to the house shows. I
Or
can't
just
wait
like,
to go to WrestleMania in April. I'm already excited. He married with kids. She don't care.
I mean, you ain't gotta throw him. If he walks by, you can kind of like try to give him dap and then kind of like put him in his hand.
Bitch, don't nobody want to be walking around with no butterfly drawers in their hand.
Ain't no wrong. You got something against butterflies?
And that's weird as fuck. Like,
You got something against butterflies?
first of all, it's childish as hell. And if you want him to look like a pedophile, that's a good way to start.
No. There are very nice adult underwears that have butterflies on that are more sensual. I'm not talking about the cartoon butterflies that have like Crayola on it.
The only butterfly drawers I know are them period drawers.
No. Okay, fine. Then don't send the butterfly draws. How about a bra? I can get some Victoria's Secret.
Just keep them
Buy.
sweat hot first. Make my
I can get.
bra.
I can get something off. I can get something off Amazon. I got Prime, so it'll get here in like 2 days.
I don't understand why this has to happen. I'm very confused rated by that.
They'll probably take. They can't take your panties. You be like, it's that time of the month. You take my panties. You can't do that.
I don't understand why it has to happen at all. I'm very confused.
See, you don't understand the communication and the bond that me and Tirza have. She knows. She knows.
She said they
Like if
don't get the panties from her when they check my bag.
If Nicole
tell
was
her that's
here,
your extra change of drawers.
if Nicole was here, she would agree to this.
That is disgusting. I'm not throwing no drawers. And Finn 40, I mean, he don't look old, but now. So?
I just want Roman to look at me. Don't we all? Don't we all?
He's gonna look at you. He looked at you the last time. You made sure of it. Damn near killed your sister to do it. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Is Don asleep?
He probably high. He was smoking.
I'm gonna make sure he sees my ass. Like literally sees your butt, or like just like you in
probably
general. Because I get on the barricade and start twerking.
Tirza ain't no home wrecker. She ain't trying to get all up in his business, but she do want to see him. Facts, Aaliyah, because she done seen him before. But he the tribal chief now.
See, she has no shame.
That's
Neither
part of
do
y'all
I.
problem. That's your problem right there. You ain't got no damn shame. You should be ashamed of yourself.
See, the reason why you acting like that is because you're trying to make it seem like you got morals. But if you was there, you would have been like, my distinguished twin. My distinguished twin.
I'm not gonna throw no draws at them.
I can't wait to see the Usos at WrestleMania because I want Jay to see me, right?
I don't want to be seen.
I'm still mad that Shayna Baszler, she did me dirty when I was at NXT. She did me so dirty.
What do you mean?
So when I was there, because I was front row, because I make sure I get front row, she came down, and you know how her hair is always wet?
Yeah.
So usually when the wrestlers come down at the house shows, they're allowed to like dap you and like give you a high five or whatever. And everyone that came down, I was able to get, like, I got one from Rhea Ripley. I got one from like Keith Lee and like Matt Riddle and Adam Cole and all that. So when she came down, she came over like she was gonna give me like a high five, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be dope." It's Shayna Baszler, but instead she like whipped her hair while it was wet and just nailed me all in the face.
Oh, them fighting words. I don't care. Gotta jump the barricade like, bitch. She wouldn't have had no hair messing with me.
She said, "Yeah, Roman did talk to me, and I had an explosion in my facts, as you should have. As you should have."
That's nasty. That's nasty.
As you should have. You telling me like who's your favorite single wrestler, Tiff?
I don't have a favorite single wrestler.
Like who's a wrestler you like? I can look at them all day.
I could look at Drew McIntyre all day.
So if you was at a house show and Drew McIntyre came up to you, you wouldn't get a little rumble?
A rumble like how?
You know what I'm talking about, a little rumble. A rumble in your jungle?
Oh my god. I have more impulse control than that. So no, looking at a man does not just roust the crotch area. That's not how I operate. Now, if he talks, that's different. It's just-
Like, what if he came up to you and gave you a hug?
oh yeah, that'll do it.
See,
That'll
see,
do it for
see.
sure. But
If he's like,
that would require a touching, and that is not something that I would personally envision. And honestly, in public, I'm a very, very quiet, observant person. You're not gonna see me react when I react online because it's easier.
and that's why he probably like you sitting in the front row, and he comes around and he's like after the match, it's a house show, he's high fiving everybody, and he sees you acting like quiet and reserved. And let's say he comes over, goes to give you a high five, and when you go to high five him, he gives you a big hug, and he's like, thanks for coming, because he pinned because you were showing how reserved you were. You telling me there wouldn't be a rumble in your jungle,
I said, yeah, when you asked me that the first time, of course.
and you be talking about it too.
I got a hug from Drew McIntyre. Yeah, that'd be a whole YouTube story for sure.
It'd be like 9 parts.
Yeah. I'm like, when we gonna get to the hug part? Bitch, I had a lot going on that day. So anyway,
It'd be like 9 parts. Like the 9th part would be where Drew actually hugged you. The other 8 be like, I woke up, went to like the Waffle House. And,
hell no, I would not do that. I'm not that long and drawn out.
Let me get a hug from Rhea Ripley. Let me get a hug from Sonya Deville.
Oh, Sonya is probably one of the girls that probably would be like, oh my god, it's Sonya Deville. She probably is even prettier in person.
She can ruin my credit. I'll give her a couple of points.
Between you and Alexis, everybody could either stomp on you or ruin your credit. I'm like, why are you also
Nicole said Rhea can stomp on her face.
Jesus.
I'll let Drew McIntyre claymore me.
Hell no. I prefer the hug. Thank you. It was my birthday, and my mom and sister surprised me with some tickets, and he was making his entrance through the crowd. And I yelled, Roman, I love you. Today's my birthday. And he looked at me.
See, y'all won't agree with this.
And our eyes met, and it was magic. And then for a while, there was no one around us, and it was just me and Roman. That's a whole book right there. You need to write Neurotica tale. Make you some money.
Here's the thing. I'm probably going to be the only one in this chat or even your Instagram that will say this. I will let Bailey give me a Bailey to belly.
Oh, you on your own with that one.
Like if Bailey gave me a hug, rumble in my jungle.
I'm not attracted to Bailey like that.
Grabbed my hand and said happy birthday, and I felt, yeah, girl, you was flowing like the river.
Yeah, I know, Khalil. Wattpad is. They took me to Wattpad because I didn't know there was anything called wrestling fan fiction.
Ooh, yeah,
and I
girl.
seen some shit I don't think I was supposed to see. I've been traumatized. Okay. Because, I mean, they got all types of snuff stories, and then they got it where Roman and Dean and Seth is in a love triangle together, and it's...
Tirza, Bailey, here's the thing. If I was to go, like, if I had a certain type, like a certain type of partner that I go for in real life, Bailey would be someone that I would try to talk to in real life. I wouldn't try to talk to Sasha in real life because she's not my type. Bailey would be more my type.
I mean, if I had a type for a woman, it probably would be Rhea Ripley or Sonya. I probably would go more for Sonya, although she's incredibly out of my league.
Sonya would be a little like Sonya wouldn't be the type I'd go for because I feel like she was out of my league. But like, yeah, I'd go for Bailey. Ruby Riott definitely would be along like my type for sure. Rhea Ripley, I don't know. Like in real life,
I think she's beautiful.
She is very beautiful. I don't know if I would like. And this is me saying if I had a chance, I probably wouldn't go for Rhea Ripley.
If I had a shot, I would.
Just because I feel like she'd be out of my like skill level.
I saw a Wattpad story, and it was all about the NXT roster, kind of outdated, by the way. We're getting killed, and Adam Cole and Roderick Strong were dating. Oh boy.
And Bailey, Bailey does have a nice body.
If I had Bailey's body, I'd be shutting bitches down. Shutting bitches down. Be all kinds of crop tops. It'd
I'd
be
be like,
right back in 2002 with
I'd be
low
like,
rise
don't.
jeans
I'd be
and
like,
a
don't
whole
talk to me unless you got my body.
period. I'd be tearing people up. I'd be like, where you going? Out. I'm going out. Fuck out of my face. Thank
Why are
you.
you dressed like that? I thought you was going to the laundromat.
I am going to the laundromat, but the people need to see me. Rhea Ripley is another one. I think a lot of women on the roster is good. I think Charlotte's very pretty. Me and Don was talking about that the other day. Charlotte, she looked exhausted in 2019. Towards the end of 2019, she just looked so tired. And she had started that minimalist makeup thing she was wearing,
Mm-hmm.
and it just washed her out. And we was just like, what is going on here? And Andrade, told her that he really loved her natural or whatever. And she started wearing that a lot, which, whatever works for you. I thought it was too nude for her. And she just always looked tired. And then 2020 was kind of like her road to a reemergence, And when she first came back, she looked really, really good. Like she was in very, very good shape. She had, kind of looked like she had refreshed herself a bit. And then when she started this kind of evil queen thing, Charlotte really revamped herself with how King Troy dresses her and like everything. She just really took it to the next level. And I was like, Charlotte looks really, really nice.
Mm-hmm. Wait, Tirza, you've met Bailey before?
I'm sure I wear my crop top at WrestleMania. And by the way, it took place after Survivor Series where NXT was there. And spoiler warning: the main roster members were killing him. Oh shit! That I probably would read that, but I don't
Yeah,
know
me too.
shit
I
about
probably
Roger
would
Strong and Adam Cole dating. I probably would read how they murdered everybody because I'm a weirdo. For 5 years straight, crop tops were my jam. I lived in them.
See, I couldn't wear a crop top because if I put on a crop top, it just looked like a sports bra.
Well, I look like Winnie the Pooh, so dead ass. So I do not wear a crop top. No.
Finn Balor's really
You get
nice.
ready to eat and you dance when you eat and shit. No.
She's like, from all the stories I heard, that she seems like really, really nice, and she actually remembers all of her fans. She literally remembers them.
Because she knows how it feels to be a fan, and she knows that could mean it could be the greatest thing to a fan for them to remember who you are. That's the cool thing about Bailey though, is Bailey's not all about self. Bailey's a little bit more outwardly, she's a little bit more worldly, where Sasha is a bit more introverted. And you could tell by how she acts when she's conducting herself in interviews, and like she's very kind of closed off. It's hard to get to know Sasha unless you really getting to know her. You know what I'm saying? So it can be perceived as Sasha Banks is a bitch, when in reality, I don't think she really has the social skills to interact with people the way that Bailey does.
Yeah, because that's the thing. She's like, Sasha does get that, like, oh, she's a bitch, she's this and that. And I was like, I think what it is, because if we go by like what she said, like how the way she was brought up, she wasn't really around a lot of people because she was just taking care of her brother. So I think she's very introverted, and I think her character is helping her being.
Octavius, hold on, y'all. Go ahead.
And I was thinking like her character is helping her be more extroverted, but in reality, she's like one of those people from interviews where she likes to like stay home a lot of the times, but the thing is too is like when I've also read stuff or seen stuff about people meeting Sasha, they say like she is a sweetheart. She is very, very nice. And then there's things that you do read about her, like, oh, she was mean and rude. When you actually get into like the meat and potatoes of the story, it's because like they approached her at an airport at like 2 a.m, or they were finding out where her hotel room was, and it was like things where it's like In any other situation, it would be considered stalking. Like you wouldn't do that because you would go to jail for that. But like if you were to meet her, if you were to just so happen to be walking down the street and you so happen to see her and you ask for an autograph or a picture, she will be more than welcome to do it. If you were at a restaurant and she just happened to walk in and you see her and stuff like that, like me personally, I wouldn't approach a wrestler if they were at a restaurant, but they would be okay with that because you just so happen to come upon. You're not actually like following them. So I feel like Sasha does get a bad rap because people think she is mean and a bitch, but in reality, she seems like a really nice person for what I heard, and like I heard a lot about Bailey being just amazing.
I think she's nice. It just depends on how you approach her and where you're coming from. So if you're coming in the airport and you see her, I wouldn't ask to take a picture. I just be like, "Oh, that's Sasha Banks," and I keep it
Yeah,
moving. Like
yeah, pretty much.
because I mean, it's frustrating enough trying to get off the damn flight,
Hmm.
let alone having somebody try to come up to you when you just got off a 2 or 3 hour flight and you're sitting up trying to figure out where you're gonna be going and what time you gotta be at the show, and then here comes somebody begging for a picture. It's like in certain instances you can understand her frustration.
Yeah, but like that's people like harp on them like, oh, she has to be a bitch, but it's like when you hear stories about people meeting Sasha. And it's not like running up on her at like 4 o'clock in the morning at her hotel room. Somehow you figured it out on her flight. She's actually a nice person. She will take a picture with you. She will sign an autograph for you. If
Honestly,
you,
most of the wrestlers are really
yeah,
nice. Most of them are very nice. I know for a fact Carmella is probably one of the nicest people you could meet.
yeah. Like one of the things when I was at NXT, once the show was over, there's an area back where they were performing where the bus was at, and everyone like ran over to where the buses were at. And I was like, I don't want to be that kind of person, so I just went home. Like I got to meet them when I got my autographs. I got to meet them when they were walking ringside. Got my high fives. I saw them in the ring. I don't need to be standing outside their hotel room in their bus. I was like, I don't need that.
I don't mind not getting no autograph. But if I pay $600, I better get a damn autograph.
See, for me, my first row ticket was 175.
That sounds more reasonable.
Yeah, because it was a house show. That's why it's like for me, I'd rather go to a house show because the house shows would be for a front row seat. It would be like $200 cheaper. Like me going to SmackDown, I don't know if I want to pay $600 for a front row seat at SmackDown. I would rather pay like the 300, maybe the 400. But it's more like 350. I'd rather pay that for a front row seat and have probably more of a time because they're more easygoing and they have a little bit more leeway and it's more fun. Like the recent Super Show they had, it was Big E versus Seth Rollins, and they said like 80% of the match was comical, but it was still fun. When they ran back Bailey and Sasha, which Bianca won on a roll up, but they ran that match back at a house show, and they said that Sasha was making everybody laugh because she was just being hysterical. She was like crawling on her knees, begging to the ref, and like she was interacting with the crowd. She made a kid cry too, which was great. That was phenomenal.
No, that's trash.
I was like, yeah, fuck them kids.
Y'all ain't shit.
Would it be a bad idea to be a heel 24/7, like how heel wrestlers was back in the
Yeah, because kayfabe is dead. it's, it's a bad idea because kayfabe is dead.
Yeah, like it works for MJF, where he can just be a heel all the time. Like he flipped off this kid, which was hilarious, and everyone was like blowing a gasket about it. And I was like, that was hilarious. But not everyone, yeah, not everyone can like do that. Like me personally, I would be a heel if I was a wrestler. But like outside of wrestling, I would probably be the biggest teddy bear you'll ever meet. Unless you like were following me.
Don, what is you remixing over there?
That song is so like it's yours.
Every time your mic was making a noise, and I was like, "What the hell?"
That song that was her over here.
Was you asleep?
Mm-mm.
Yes, he was.
That's a bit.
He's over there high as hell.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. It depends on the character. MJF works because of where he is. But so he was a heel since he was on Rosie O'Donnell's show at 5 years old. He was on the Rosie O'Donnell show.
Dang, I ain't heard that name of that show in a long time.
Wow.
Well, good for Rosie.
I guess. I mean,
I'm hungry.
I'm finna go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm finna go to bed. Yeah. I'll probably go live tomorrow to make up for today's live after NXT. Well, I gotta do that thing with y'all tomorrow, so it'll probably be late. They played it on MLW a while back. Oh shit, I didn't even know that. Before I worked at Tap Out when it was still in business the year prior, John did an appearance there, and his rep told all the staff not to look at him or talk to him. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me.
You can't see me.
Yeah. Good night, Khalil. Well, that's what you want to do, baby. I expect John Cena to be a dick. He got a controlling nature.
I'm still surprised Nikki pinned and beat Charlotte clean. Wasn't a roll up.
Nope.
They was like, oh, your daddy want to get released. Guess what you doing tonight?
That is not. Good night. Good night. Janae ain't shit.
Yeah, you know, when you look at all of her matches, if she losing, it's either by a roll up or a distraction finish.
But she won clean. Why it can't just be she won?
Think about it. Take a second.
Bye.